the Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He...
Hebrew Bible Academy, you're invited. Blessings, 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 blessings. Let's go. Shalom, shalom.
I was lost,
Blessings.
but now I'm found.
Hit the like button.
I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. Hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today.
Hit the like button, brothers and sisters. Come on in.
With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength.
Shalom.
Place my feet, Lord God, my path, show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see
Open up the book and sing. Come on.
that the apple of your eye included me.
Blessings, blessings.
And through the tribulation, I know I must stand.
We must stand. Come on.
For a new heaven, a new earth, show me the way to Zion.
Zion. Come on.
I'm on my knees,
Hit the like button. Hit the like button, brothers and sisters.
laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion.
Go into Zion. Go into Zion. Blessings to my brothers and sisters throughout the four corners of the earth. We're the elders of the Gathering of Christ Church here with a weekly Sabbath lesson. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's a lot going on in the earth right now, and all praises be to the Most High, Ahia. In the name of Yeshua, blessings to my brothers and my sisters. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. How you doing, Elder?
Shabbat Shalom, sir. I'm doing well.
All right, all right. You're sounding good. You're sounding good. Boy, I'm going to just give it a few more seconds, and we're going to jump in. We're going to jump right in. Yes, yes, yes. 1 second. Let me put this on silent here. Don't need any interruptions. Here's our lesson today. As the world prepares for the final war. Okay? Before going in, I would like to say thank you to all my brothers and sisters who have put your prayers out for the last week. It's been a very trying week for me. All right, a very trying week. When it comes to losing people who are and were very close to me. And I thank you for all your kind words, your emails, your prayers going up to the Almighty. I just thank you. I thank you. I thank you. It means so much to know that so many people care. And there's so many things going on in prophecy that I wanted to convey this week. But sometimes we need time to, support those who care for us, our families, and mourn those we've lost. Okay? And it's one thing to be out there, and we tell brothers and sisters, and we encourage brothers and sisters to prepare themselves for us losing people who are so close to us in these end times, and understand that it's in the Most High's hands, right? And but all the same, and I believe that the Most High have given me the proper posterity to deal with this, but things hurt nonetheless when the Most High take those who are close to us. And I know there is some comfort knowing that they're in the hands of the Almighty, but they'll be missed. And this coming week we'll be laying those loved ones this coming week to rest. But you'll hear more on that later. But I would like to say a blessed thank you for all of your prayers. Right, I've missed you, Elder Lawya. Thank you for holding down the fort. All right, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Right, but all together, there's so many things going down in the earth that, brothers and sisters, I just can't just sit back, sit on my hands, sulk, and not warn the people. Right? So we're going to get through this. We'll get through this together. And the Most High have given me so much this week to convey to you all that I just couldn't. Everything was in me earlier to say, Elder Lawya, handle it for me. You would have done an impeccable work in bringing forth the word. I have no doubt about that. But the Most High was like, hey, get up. Get up. Talk to the people. I'm like, well, okay. All right. I prepared a lesson, and it's timely for what we're about to go into. No soon as Elder Lawya, I was about to hand it over to you today, just so I can take another few more days off. A text came on my phone from Bishop Shamal from New York. And this is how there's confirmation that I had to speak on this Sabbath. What he texted was exactly what I was looking at this morning. Venezuela. And when he texted, if you speak to him, the only response I had in the text, I think he texted both of us together. The only response I had was thank you. But I don't think the brother knew what I was thanking him for. He probably thought I was thanking him for the video he sent. And yes, I do thank him for that. But it was confirmation that the Most High was giving me that I had to speak to the people today. I said, thank you. Boom. Hit that shower. Got myself together, put in prayers while I was in my closet. And man, are we going to have a discussion today. Now, when it comes to the Hebrew and Bible Academy, I'm going to make those announcements later. I'm in the spirit, so I need to jump right into this. Okay? Now, Elder Lawya, if you can, if you will, let's now do the Shema.
Yes, sir. Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Shema Yasha Allah Ahaya Allahayanawa Ahaya Achad.
Hear, O Israel, The Lord our God is one Lord.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one God. Ahia is his name. Now, for those who don't know, we just translated Deuteronomy 6:4. The Bible says if you speak in another tongue, you must interpret. What we hear in the modern day churches isn't the speaking in tongues we read about in the New Testament. Okay? If there's no interpreter, it's what? It's either what? Channeling 9 times out of 10, or babbling, or showboating. Or some people may just be chanting something because they feel good. Okay? But it has, let me make it clear, because we're making a distinction with the gospel of Christ. We can't give that any credibility or any what? Any credible spiritual significance if there isn't an interpreter. That's how we regulate and decipher who's actually operating in the Spirit of the Almighty, following Christ's gospel, following his disciples. Don't use the scriptures to justify something that isn't in the scriptures. You must interpret. Now, that ain't what I want to talk about, but I'll be more than willing to hear someone's retort on that, because every time I bring that forth, you have others out there who get offended. And they get offended saying, well, hold up. You can't tell me what I feel. I know it's the Spirit of God. Well, guess what? If you know it's the Spirit of God, what did Paul tell you to do? You go home and deal with God in private with something that people don't understand. That's it. We're not going to deny that if you are speaking in an unknown tongue, we're not going to, because we can't verify whether or not God is speaking to you. You know that. That's why Paul said you don't do it in the church. Go home and speak to God alone if you're going to speak in a different language. That's the answer to that. We're not questioning your belief in God. We're not questioning the spirit that have overcome you if you say it's God's spirit. But we don't know. And we must seek according to the word to do what? To edify in a world filled with confusion. Right? And that ain't what I wanted to talk about today, but I thought I would put that out there because so many people get offended by us mentioning what the Bible says concerning tongues. But I digress. Right? In the midst of this week, Elder Lawya, the Most High gave me time to reflect on everything in the midst of what was going on with my family, as far as losing those who are close to me. And I went all the way back with myself to the beginning of what would become this ministry. And I'm sure it will help others understand why it's so important that we do the work, do Christ's gospel in the earth. Right? I remember years ago, and all of us at some point is faced with this dilemma in our minds. Especially when it comes to serving the Almighty in church or whatever the case is. What am I doing this for? Right? And it sounds simple, right? What am I doing this for? I remember years ago when I first got the truth, and nothing was really working out in certain areas that I sought the Most High for. Right? And then the question comes into our mind, and it's not good to question the Almighty, but I remember wrestling with that dilemma. What am I doing this for? And guess what? Clarity came immediately before my faith waned. Clarity came. What is that? Purpose and duty. Without the Most High, there is no purpose. There is no drive beyond the social satanic construct. Purpose and duty. And it resonated in my mind more so than anything that like the thought was so clear that, hey, you'll live your life, but you won't be remembered. You will die and be forgotten. Right? That's just the way it is. And it resonated as clear as day decades ago. And now it's coming around full circle. I'm looking at the work from that time, because even when you go into the scriptures, I'm going to show you all this, brothers and sisters. The prophets even had questions in the old time. Like, how am I doing this, and the other? And my life, where I pray to have the Most High do certain things to reveal or show forth that He's with me, and those things doesn't materialize. And it leads to one question in the Almighty. But here's the realization. We're praying to the Most High so that He can fulfill our being, existence, and wants, while ignoring what He requires from us. Maybe the life we're praying for isn't the life He intended for us. It's not that the Most High doesn't hear your prayer. It's just that our prayers based on the world restricts us. It restricts us. But when we walk according to Christ, we're set free. We have access to everything, even some of the things we prayed for and didn't get it because it wasn't time. We're going to talk today before going into the lesson. The reality is the answer was given, and we can confirm it with scripture. Why are we doing this? It's purpose and duty. And that purpose and duty is without expectation of receiving anything. Because that's the true meaning for life. Or we die and will be forgotten. Period. The other thing, and I'm going to handle this a little later in the class. Fame. Fame in this world is absolutely nothing because it comes with a cost. But there's a separate fame the scriptures talks about that we're going to bring forth later. If anything, we can look at P. Diddy, we can look at all these particular people that we sought to for some level of recognition as gatekeepers to allow us or allow any of us in the business or whatever the case is to get a shot or an opportunity. People that we admired based on what? The fame that was given them in this world. And look at their end. You can name it. Tyler Perry, you can name it. Oprah Winfrey, you can name it. I'm just giving you some examples of our people to show you that what's given to them, fame in this world, comes with a price. That you'll be remembered in this world, but be forgotten in the world to come. So we must seek a different fame. The fame written of in Scripture. A name that will never be forgotten. They'll be remembered in this world. And this is what I can only speak by experience real quick before going into the lesson. And this is so deep, Elder Lawya, as the thoughts ran in my mind, and I'm about to go into the lesson. I had to write some of this down. We live to achieve fame in this world, yet we put minimal effort to achieve fame for the world to come. Suppose we put all the effort in job applications and presentation and moving up the corporate ladder and being recognized by our peers as successful. Suppose we put just 1/10 of that effort into Christ's kingdom. What would we achieve? We're going to talk today. What are we doing this for? Purpose and duty. And on top of that, the Most High will write our names, or our names will not be forgotten. We will not be blotted out of the book of life. So when the kingdom of heaven comes to earth, guess what? We have worked for a place, a room in Christ's palace. A name that will never be forgotten. Right? Now, before I go in, I was preparing a lesson, Elder Lawya, to talk about this coming Wednesday when it comes to the demo nuts or Esau using the Somalis as a front. Okay? And usually when there's news programs and something comes out where everyone is on it at one time, at the same time, we usually come and bring levity to what you're seeing. Okay? There's no Somalis anyway, even though they're being used as pawns that can be behind what we're seeing in Minnesota. That's a whole Democrat-ran way of siphoning money out of the system to actually finance a lot of their campaigns and to keep what? To keep the people not only dependent on the Democrats, but if they have a certain number of people within an area, they can now hold districts to be voted in to continue the con from one year to the next. Which means, in a nutshell, allocation, here's a loophole they've found. Allocations for resources in any city or any place is determined off of population. How many people lives in a specific area? Without parsing out whether or not these people are citizens or not. So if you go find a whole village of Somalis who look like black people and say, listen, we're going to move you over to America in your own place and give you a little Somali, they count towards what? The population of that area. Even if they are illegal, you must allocate funds to feed these people. That's how Democrats have been fudging the voting. You bring them in according to the district under the minority black and brown coalition, and now you must allocate funds there that wouldn't be there otherwise. Okay? That's how it works. And because they're in that area will continually vote Democrat to receive funds and or kickbacks. That's not a Somali thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're just the crash dummies getting used by Esau against us. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because the money that should have went to us is being siphoned into the Edomite liberal, crazed white people's hands. It was their plan to go drag Somalis over here and give them a community so they can siphon money out of the black community, that money that was earmarked for us. And I would have discussed that Wednesdays, but I'm getting it all out before getting into the lesson because all these thoughts were there during the week, but I couldn't come before you. Number one, all of a sudden, if somebody pops out of nowhere and is put in front of people and garner fame overnight like Nick Shirley, it was engineered. He didn't come out of nowhere.
That's right.
Okay? Everybody knew that they was doing these cons. Okay? Let me tell y'all something, folks. North Philadelphia, Muslims coming up in our neighborhoods in the 2000s. Everybody knew about doing what? Submitting applications that was earmarked for the black community. Muslims was doing it. The black Muslim community was doing it. But we were actually, even though a lot of people over these programs in Philadelphia was using some of the money for themselves, they had to show forth that they were producing something for the community. Everyone knows that exists.
Right.
And white people couldn't get access to those funds until they made white women a minority to become the liberals who can allocate the funds to siphon all the civil rights money back to our oppressors. That's how it works. Nick Shirley, I looked him up. Okay? He went to Israel not too long ago. Okay? He's just a newborn Zionist that's being utilized for this. Now, where does this end with our people? Okay? That's why I named this particular lesson concerning the war. What does this have to do with us? One might ask, right? As the earth prepares for the final war, what does this have to do with us? Well, check this out. Out of nowhere, New Year's Day, because of Nick Shirley's expose, they did what? An executive order was signed where no federal money can go towards funds towards daycare centers now.
Mm-hmm.
See? Now you have to realize what's going on because we're giving you the big picture. They want you to see Somalis. That's on the books. But no. If there's no federal funds that are going to any daycare centers because of what Somalis did, now there's no subsidies where now the cost will now be transferred to the parents. And our parents cannot afford daycare at its price, even though it's subsidized right now. So who's going to open up a daycare center to take care of children? Knowing that the money's there is not allocated, and now the costs go towards the parents. So by default, what that means? Well, you have to realize why they started daycare centers from the beginning. To get the woman out of the house. See? They was willing to subsidize it to get the woman out of the house to work in the work market. See, it was worth it to them to subsidize it, because then the state could raise your children in your absence. So the government was incentivizing that. They wanted women in the workplace. If they're in the workplace, then what? There's more people in the workplace, and it adds to the economy. On top of that, what happens? She's in the workplace, and because now the jobs that would normally be easily filled, because there's more in the workforce, supply and demand, the corporations and the industry can now pay the employees less money. The more people you have, see how it works? The less the demand, the less you have to pay for workers. Right? So they got us used to what? An adverse society against traditional family. They got us used to it. See how that works? So it was common for people to just go to work, male and female, make their own incomes separate. Now, the reason why they wanted it separate, because eventually they would use the family courts to separate the families, so that there'll be vitriol between a man and woman, and eventually the man would leave and never come back. That was the plan. They had to wait it out until men just left the market altogether with no hopes of family, no hope of having a happy ending, to see the whole construct as broken, not to engage going forward. At least not traditionally. See how they did that? Now, why did they separate the man from the woman? Well, it's still the economy. Instead of having one house, now the economy can thrive artificially, make you think everything is going on booming, because now you got two separate rents, two separate mortgages, two separate cars, and now the economy is booming because instead of these are one family operating together, you got separate people operating that should have been operating together to save. Now the money generates and moves in the economy as if the economy is actually booming, but it's truly not. We're losing the soul of family. That was their plan. It boosts the economy because everyone's working, but yet the people are separated, and now we can destroy the children. And now that they have successfully done so, there's no need for daycare centers. See how it works? There's no need for daycare centers now. They have socially engineered man and woman against one another. And they don't care about the economy the way it used to be because they've brought in replacements to restart a new economy coming out of COVID. See? So they don't need daycare. And why don't they need daycare? Well, if anything, the Somalis are showing us is that what? If you lived overseas, folks, they don't need daycares. They're traditionalists. Right? You have a man with many wives, and they all take care of each other's children regularly and take care of their parents. They're all in the same house. That's how the Somalis were able to do this, because what they did naturally overseas, there's money earmarked for that when it comes to health care, right? When it comes to what they call those places where you bring people, where you take people for rehabilitation and all these others, right? Also, daycare. They do daycare,
clinics.
huh?
You mean clinics?
Yeah, clinics, right? Everything they do is in their home anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I lived overseas. So daycare, taking care of the parents, looking out and making sure they get their medications and all that. All the things people do naturally as family overseas, folks, have been compartmentalized in the financial systems to pay people for doing that here. So when they brought these people over, they were like, okay, you're already looking over 10, 15 kids every day from Somalia or from any Muslim country. We're just going to say, hey, here's money for daycare, and just put a sign out there. And what you're doing in your houses, we're going to give you money, and we're going to use you all to siphon money out of the community. And then we're going to blame you so that now we can stop it all, because there's no more use for daycare centers. The women are moved out of what? Out of the job market. So it's no coincidence all these jobs have been lost by women. And at the end of the year, the beginning of the year, all the jobs are lost. AI or what have you. And at the end of the year, the first of the year, no daycare. So listen to what's going on now. Well, there's no daycare. Now the women must spend more time with their children, but there's no finances to actually upkeep this new social model. The only people who will survive are the people that they think will survive, are the people who are traditionalists, the replacements. See, who is socially engineered to live under third world conditions. So that's what that Zionist Nick Shirley is about. Blowing the lid off of something that have always existed, but they went overboard so they can come back and say, look at all this money, yeah. So that now the president, Trump, would have what? Plausible deniability and say, okay, we got to stop federal funding for daycares altogether, because they don't need daycares anymore. They're done. They have successfully separated the families and have replaced the market with third world labor. See that? So I wanted to answer that real quick because I didn't get a chance to say it Wednesday. Right? Hit that like button for us, please. Hit that like button. One moment. Hit that like button. 1 second. All right, thank you. All right, Lawya, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's jump right in. Jump right in, and thank you. Hit the like button. We have enough people in right now. All praises be to the Most High. We can start up. All right. As the earth prepares for the final war. Now, I started off by stating that years ago in the ministry, before I started dealing with this, of course, certain things come to your mind. Why am I doing this? Right? And it comes down to purpose and duty. Right? But then that leads me to go to 2nd Ezra. Let's go to the prophet Ezra real quick, because I'm going to tell you, folks, I've seen it. What do I mean I've seen it? Brothers and sisters, it's something about serving the Most High, staying in the Word of God, staying connected to the Spirit that gives you life. That gives you life and meaning and passion. I've seen those who once had faith and it galvanized and have moved them in the Spirit. But it wasn't just them being moved in the Spirit. It was the Spirit of the Almighty connected to them because they were dealing with duty. And I've seen scenarios, folks, where if any person decide not to serve the Most High and are doing anything else, regardless of the reason, they become a shell of themselves. I've seen it. I've seen people who was energized in the spirit of the Almighty, and I've seen them again, and you could see that the spirit that once galvanized them is gone. And no one ever want to be in that predicament. You must always find something deep down in you between you and the Most High that would have you endure, so that you never forget that first love, that first feeling when you found out that you were a child of the Almighty. So to question certain things is healthy. But the answers must be given you through the Most High. And you must stand your ground until it's received. Example. Elder Lawya, if you will. Let's go here. I got a few things written down here. Let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 4th chapter. And let's start at the first verse, if you will.
Yes, sir. 2nd Ezra 4:1.
Yes.
And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, Thy heart hath gone too far in this world. And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?
Read that again.
Thy heart hath gone too far in this world. And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High?
He says, Thou heart have gone far in this world. And thinkest thou to comprehend the way of the Most High? Now I need y'all to think about why Ezra is saying this. Ezra, brothers and sisters, has questions. And don't forget, folks, we are born and shaped in iniquity based on a construct that's set up by the wicked. See? Understand that that's our view of what the world is. Right? So, and the Most High is looking at you and saying, hey, you think you can question me? You think you can comprehend the Most High, and you haven't figured out your current construct and what its purpose is? And this is where man began to believe that they are smarter than the Most High based on man's logic. That's where atheists falls off of the proverbial flat earth. because their construct, their understanding of the Most High isn't answered. They question God's existence. Right? So check it out. Let me go there real quick. Then said, Yea, I, Lord. Read it.
Then said I, Yea, my Lord. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show thee 3 ways, and to set forth 3 similitudes before thee.
He says, I'm going to give you 3 examples. Because people lose faith, brothers and sisters, based on the parameters they set in order to believe in the Most High. Look how crazy that is. You set parameters, and if the Most High God doesn't satisfy those, then I can now question his existence. When your very life is proof God is real. So he says, so Ezra say, and you can jump in any time, Elder.
Yes, sir.
So the Most High is saying, I'm going to set 3 things before you. Some people think, Lord, I did everything. I pray all the time. I do your work. I'm nice to people. Why things ain't working out for me? Because you're doing what would have things work out for you in this world. You're praying for the desires of this world.
Mm.
And the Most High don't want to satisfy that. You seek what he needs first, and then you are rewarded for things that you can look at and say, you know what? I thank the Most High that he's given me some substance in this world. Because what? I've prioritized him first. Oh, I'm losing my house. Oh, I can't pay my bills. Where's this God? I've been praying to you. I pay my tithes. What's going on? And the Most High just looking at you. He's like, listen, when you get on the path and set your path right, then guess what? When you meet me halfway, then I'm going to begin to show you what's going on, okay? Let me show y'all something here, folks. Stick with me. 3 things, jumping right in. Right? The 4th verse.
Yes, sir. Verse 4. Whereof, if thou canst declare me one, I will show thee also the way that thou desirest to see, and I will show thee from whence the wicked heart cometh. And I said, Tell all, my Lord. Then said he unto me, Go thy way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past.
Okay, I'm going to put 3 things before you. How much does fire weigh? Measure me the blast of the wind. Tell me everything that happened yesterday. As a matter of fact, just don't tell me everything happened yesterday. Tell me exactly everything you did. Listen to this. From 1 second to the next. Yesterday. Now, of course, you can remember yourself acting or operating yesterday because you were there. Right? So the Most High is not even going to put the weight on you telling him everything that happened in the earth at one time like he understands. Tell me every second what you did from the time you got up. Everything. Without missing anything. So he's asking Esdras. The 6th verse, read.
Verse 6. Then answered I and said, What man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me?
It says, what man is able to do that thou shouldest ask such things of me? Now, this is Ezra the prophet. Like I said, we all go through in our lives that moment where we need confirmation from the Almighty, so to speak. We need confirmation that the God we serve is real. So now, here it is. Ezra is dealing with some of these inconsistencies, some misunderstanding, like, why do our people have to suffer while the wicked prosper? And it makes logical sense, right? But there's a purpose. So now the Most High is going to give him some answers because the prophet Ezra's faith is waning some, right? That thou shouldst ask such things of me. He says, how do I know how much a flame weighs? How can I recall everything I did yesterday? Or how do I know and measure which way the wind comes? Right? Now check out the Most High though. Why is he framing it this way? And we're going to talk about it in a moment. And I need you, brothers and sisters, to remember this class if there's ever any level of doubt in your faith. Right? Because we're all vulnerable. And we'll all come to a point where our faith is tested. Right? So just remember this. That's not an anomaly. You're going through what all believers have gone through since the beginning. But it's getting through without falling. That's what it's about. And becoming stronger out of that indecision, out of that wavering of faith than you were beforehand. Not to go backward. Because your answer may be right around the corner, but yet you give up before you receive it. Now check out the Most High. The Most High created everything we see outside of this time's realm. Now, can the Most High tell you everything that happened everywhere, to everything, with every creature, yesterday as if it, and down to the second? Absolutely. The angels of the presence, the eyes of the Lord reports to the Most High, which means the eyes of the Lord can see the earth based on each individual scenario within this time continuum. And the Most High can simultaneously look through all the angels' eyes and see everything and be able to what? To be able to understand it, calibrate it, and reason with all of it at one time, as if it's one instance. And it doesn't matter what it is. It can be people, it can be animals, you name it. The Most High is consuming all life existence in the earth at one time, everywhere, on the outside of time. That's the God we're dealing with. Hence the reason he told Moses, I am that I am. So we have to understand why the Most High is posing these questions to Ezra. Right? Because Ezra, listen to me clearly, because the Most High can do all real time what he's putting before Ezra. Like, who do you think you're dealing with? Where I have to lower my being to fit into your God perspective, when it should be the other way around. That we humble ourselves to figure him out. See? Let's go.
Yes, sir. Verse 7. And he said unto me, if I should ask thee how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the firmament, or which are the outgoings of paradise, peradventure thou wouldest say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into hell, neither did I climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, now have I asked thee but only of the fire and wind, and of the day wherethrough thou hast passed, and of things from which thou canst be separated, and yet canst thou give me no answer of them.
So he says, Ezra, you have questions about me. I gave you 3 things to understand things that you interact with or understand within the earth, yet you have no answers. And I didn't give you a test that means that you tell me what happens in paradise, what happens on the outside realms, the principalities and powers and thrones and the invisible. I'm not asking you none of that. I'm asking you to give me insight on things you deal with every day, and yet you are confused. Yet you are confused. What does that mean? Thank you. Here you go. Hey, it was windy the other day, right, Ezra? And you felt the wind, and you went and you got you a coat that would have it where you would withstand the wind. So you know the wind exists. You can't tell me, Ezra. You can't balance the wind or tell me where the wind comes from. You prepare yourself for it. You cooked yesterday, Ezra. You use a flame every day to cook. You don't know how much it weighs? You don't know how much it weighs. You lived yesterday and can't tell me you did everything you did yesterday. You haven't even figured yourself out, Ezra. You going to question me? And this is what happens in the mind of man, because men and women were made of high intelligence. Above all beings on the earth, man is the intelligent one. But even the Most High told Esau, the pride of his heart have deceived him. I made you the most intelligent for down there. But you get above yourself when you begin to question what's up here. Everything that's done in the earth, that the Most High does in the earth, is for his purpose. And because of our intelligence, because we've grown in intelligence here in the world, we believe now that we can question God. No. He's talking to a prophet right here. Right? It says, nevertheless, now have I asked thee, but only, I just asked you, Ezra, about a fire. You deal with fire every day.
Mm-hmm.
When you know there's wind, you put on garments to protect you. Right? And I'm only asking you here about yesterday because you lived in it. Right? But yet we question God. Read to the 10th verse. Read that.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. He said, moreover unto me, thine own things, and such as are grown up with thee, thou canst not know. How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest?
Look at that. The Most High is bringing that heat. And Ezra, folks, was on a level. When I say that, there's no professor anywhere, in academia or otherwise, who could contend with the knowledge of Ezra based on what he knew naturally as a prophet. Today, no one could contend with him. But yet we got some of these idiots up in these colleges believing that they can come up with evolution and question how things work according to the Almighty. Right? I like to call some of these people unfortunate. A lot of people get this college and all that, and they become what? Intelligent idiots. Because now they got a degree to justify their idiocy. If you don't understand the Most High, your education means nothing. How shall thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest? How can we question the Most High and what he does? Many things the Most High is going to do that we'll never understand while it's happening. Only to get the answer later to why something happened. But in the moment, we're confused. We don't understand. but there was a purpose with the Almighty. Even when he does things, we may think in our peer view and our view within the earth that we may think that, okay, what he allowed to do here was wrong. Was it? How do you know? You can only see what's happening in the present. Right? He sees the end of this. To why something that happened in the present had to happen according to his will. And man will never understand that. Never understand it. Because it's not put in you to understand it. It's enough things within the earth we still haven't figured out. Right? Come on, let's read it.
Yes, sir.
Read
Verse 11.
Read the whole 11th verse for me.
Yes, sir. 11. How should thy vessel then be able to comprehend the way of the highest, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in thy sight?
The world is corrupted. That means we have been taught corruption and have normalized corruption to a degree that we question the Most High. Your teachers are corrupt. Your university is corrupt. Your professors are corrupt. So they have shaped a negative worldview in you through your education. And that's what you're just supposing against the Almighty. After being taught by crazy people. Okay? Okay? You're viewing God through a broken construct to why you question him. Right? And the majority of people who's in religion, Christianity in particular, have been taught what? A simplified understanding of the Almighty. Like he's some magic leprechaun who just grant wishes when you pray. Right? He's a leprechaun at the end of the rainbow with a pot of gold. And now, hey, things that went wrong based on how I have led myself here. And I need him to magically give me some golden coins. No, the Most High doesn't work that way. Then he said, the 12th verse.
Yes, sir. 2 Ezra 4 and 12. Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness, and to suffer, and not to know wherefore.
So now, here it is, Ezra's pushing the envelope. Man, it's better off, man, we should just give up then. It's better that we didn't do anything at all, that we should live in all this wickedness that messed our minds up and suffer because of it and not know the reason that we have to go through this. When there's a God who Ezra serves, who if he wanted to, can fix it right now. See, that's what Ezra is struggling with. That's what makes people atheists or go into different belief systems. Because what? They don't know God. Man, we might as well give up then. I'm speaking to you. If you can't tell me, then what's going on? Well, folks, eventually, Ezra got it all. He got the answers he was looking for. He did. But the Most High had to check him. He got the answers. Here's the answers. Why are we living in a wicked world where we're subjected to wickedness and death? Great question. Our father and mother sinned against the Almighty, and that tainted all of humanity. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Which means there was a metamorphosis, a change in man that goes throughout all of the children of Adam. A malignant root that could only be what? Destroyed through a pure sacrifice. And if we're willing to serve and be baptized and cleanse ourselves from the sin of Adam to receive his son as a sacrifice, that's the antidote. That's the cure. Now, what does that cure does? What it do? It allows us to view the world from the outside of it, like the Most High does. See? We're not caught up in it all. We're able to view it based on the Most High's plan for earth. And it comes down to, we're still living in the time of Adam and Eve when you look at the fact that it comes down to free will and what choices we make. The choice to be consumed with this world, or the choice to live, to achieve, or to one day partake of that tree Adam and Eve could not partake of. The tree of life. Once we partake of that, guess what, folks? Then it opens up a whole new understanding that's necessary at that time. See? That's necessary. The Most High is not just going to give us the tree of life just to give it to us. Or take the tree down. No. That tree is going to be necessary for the next chapter for kingdom. But we must work towards that. We must accept his son to receive the Holy Spirit that gives us a broader view and understanding of why this earth is outside of our personal ambitions. See? See, and guess what, folks? What I'm explaining to you right now cannot be given to you. You have to take a step in faith to understand it. We can talk about it, reason it, we can make it logical for you to understand it, but unless you walk in faith and take that step, you'll never understand what it is. It's almost like the Matrix where Morpheus say, listen, he couldn't give Neo anything. Neo had to take the red pill. See? And guess what, folks? That's the baptism. You there, the lawyer?
Yes, sir.
What Neo showed you with the red and blue pill, folks, the baptism is the red pill. See? What do I mean by that? When you're baptized, you're first what? Before you go into the water, you're faced with yourself and all your sins and your shortcomings. See? And you realize within yourself that you're not going to make it into the kingdom or God's kingdom with all of this you've done in the past that makes us unworthy when compared to the law that was given to Moses. It's a dark spirit that comes through sin that makes us unworthy. We feel unworthy in our conscience because we have what? We have insight. We have recollection of all the things that makes us what? Sinners. So when we go to that baptism, all that comes to our mind, what we did against the Almighty. And then, with the agreement Isaiah, the 1st chapter. The Most High promised that he'll make us cleansed as if we are chaste virgins before him if we're willing to face our former selves and lay that person in the water. And now out of the water, our conscience is clear that the Most High will not judge us on our past wicked life shaped in iniquity. And that gives us what? Now that we don't have the darkness of our former sins, that gives us what? It gives us the moral position to stand with a clear conscience to do the Most High's will without anyone accusing us of our past deeds. See? And then when you step over and all the guilt is not on you, you see the world the way it was meant to be seen. That the world is not about your personal ambition. You have highs, you have lows within the Most High's world. Success is measured differently with the Most High. Success with the Most High is making it all the way to the end. And we're gonna talk about that in a couple of moments. But I wanted to put that out there, brothers and sisters, because I'm sure that someone is going to run into these particular lessons and a lot of things they've been thinking about in their minds is now answered on this Sabbath. Don't question the Most High. Get down with the Most High. Be down with him. Read his word. The things that you don't understand, guess what? That's not meant for you to understand. There's so many things that we can learn that gets us where we want to be at, and even having the mysteries revealed down the line. Right? Hit that like button. Elder Lawya, let's go in now.
Yes,
let's go in. This is going to be a quick one because I want to open it up for questions. All praises. As the earth prepare for the final war is the lesson. What's going on in the earth right now? One might ask. One might ask. What is going on in the earth? Fair use for educational and prophetic purposes.
Caracas under attack from the US. Helicopters, flames, explosions. These were strikes targeting the city's key military infrastructure. Eyewitnesses woke in the early hours of the morning to the booms.
What are you witnessing, folks? Right after New Year, Donald Trump says U.S. will run Venezuela until safe transition can take place. What happened here? Out of nowhere. They usually do these things during the holidays when people are what? Distracted. Right? Number one, they use the Somali thing. The Zionists use the Somali thing under Nick Shirley, who's a mini Zionist, so that they can now wage war against our people, folks, within the communities who have our children in daycare. So that now women are going to have to go back home and be women. There's a whole other conversation on that alone. AI was set up so that Esau can get his women back because what? He's losing the birth war. He's being birthed out of existence. So he's telling the women, I don't need y'all in the offices no more. Come back home and have our babies. Okay? No, don't drop our baby off at daycare where these nut jobs and these crazy people are raising our children. Nah, you must, not only must you get back home and have babies, you're going to train our babies in preparation for the last war. This is survival for Esau. Okay? You're going to train our babies concerning what the true biblical construct is for self-preservation for Edomite people. Get your behind out of the offices, okay? Stop messing around all out there, and you come home and you have my children. Period. That's what Donald Trump are doing. That's what the Aryan races are doing all over the earth right now. Now, what that means for us, I'm going to deal with it later. But on the other hand, at the same time, a lot of you probably didn't know,
wake up at
Venezuela,
2 a.m. in the morning with a huge bang. Everything was.
Venezuela is getting toppled. Now, this may be some news to you on this side of the earth, but I remember all of this happening during the Arab Spring years ago with Libya. What happened over in Tiananmen Square in Egypt. I was overseas when that happened. So it's nothing foreign to what they're doing right here. Now, let me put this out there. January 3rd, Saturday, 2026. Mark it right now. We're at 1:20 p.m. Eastern, Saturday, January 3rd, so I can tell you all what's going to happen next. First of all, I'm going to show you why they're in Venezuela. What they're going to do next. They've already primed the pump using Somalis. And they're going to claim, based on them shutting the Somalis down, that there's a terrorist group operating Muslim extremists out of the Somalians in the United States. And don't be surprised if there's a false flag where there's an attack blaming black Muslims. Remember that I told you this. Snip it, clip it, hold it. Which will justify the armies they have already deployed in all of these inner cities. And it's going to happen in one of these cities they've already deployed, ICE. Okay, just remember this, that I told you. Okay, it's going to be Venezuela, then there's going to be something that happened in the United States, a false flag possibly, that will do what? That will justify them going after black Muslims. And by default, eventually it'll be, well, mistaken identity. Because it want to start with the Somalis, but it's going to be, I don't know the difference between Somalis and black people in America. Right? Mistaken identity. I don't know. They all look the same to me. See how it's going to work? But I'll handle a lot of that next week if the Most High permit. But this is where we are, Venezuela. Let's go.
It's vibrating. It just jumped to the window, and I was able to see something in flames in the middle of their runway.
Venezuelans were not just woken by the strikes, but also the news that their president, Nicolas Maduro, had been captured. On Truth Social, President Donald Trump said he and his wife had been flown out of the country after a large-scale strike against Venezuela. His government colleagues do not seem to know his whereabouts.
Now, I've heard this before. Hillary Clinton, when she said Gaddafi, we came, we conquered, he's dead. In Libya, remember they saying that Gaddafi fled and they trying to figure out where he was? I heard all this before. See this? Now, why are they in Venezuela? And you may think this is the United States, but no. What are they going to do, folks? it's going to seep into the United States. You know how many Venezuelans they let in the United States? Because it's really a uniparty between the Democrats and Republicans. They work together. It's a uniparty. See? So now what's going to happen is what? They're going to claim a group has developed. Now, when your people are being attacked, of course you're going to feel a certain level of negative sentiments against the country that's doing it. So automatically, they're going to be people organically from Venezuela and other countries that's going to feel a certain type of way in the United States. And then we're going to have the same thing in Gaza, an engineered boogeyman like Hamas that can justify what? People getting attacked on American soil. See? It's the same playbook as Hamas that justify the retaliation. So you wonder why they'll give Somalis an area by themselves where they're 90% of the population in the community? Think about it. Why they don't have to assimilate like everyone else? So that they can justify just dropping something on these people at any time like what we're seeing in Gaza. And we're looking at it like, hey, that's little Somalia. It has nothing to do with us. Oh, it doesn't? If it happened in the United States, it'd have something to do with you. That means any pockets of people in a community, the same can happen to them in the United States, whether they Somali or not. Right? So here it is. The president of Venezuela have been toppled. A regime have been put in. And it's the same regime that's operating overseas right now. If you want to think it's the United States or Trump, you have another thing coming. How do we know? Let's point out the people who's really behind Venezuela getting bombed right now. Okay? Right? Let's go here to Venezuelans president 12 years ago, Nicolas Maduro, his quotes 12 years ago, Elder Lawya. And this is fair use for prophetic and educational purposes. And Elder Lawya, see, I've been sitting on some of this stuff, man. I'm like, you know what? I know what I'm going through, but we have to tell the people what's going on because the prophecies are unfolding and we have to deliver what's going on in this earth right now, right?
Right, gone.
So let's go. I'm going to show you the people who are behind the attacks with them using America as a proxy. What did Venezuelan president, the new president, Nicolas Maduro, what did he say 12 years ago?
Venezuela's new president, Nicolas Maduro, has scoffed at accusations that the country's leadership is hostile to Jews, explaining that he himself has roots in Judaism. Venezuela's new president, Nicolas Maduro, has scoffed at accusations that the country's leadership is hostile to Jews, explaining that he himself has roots in Judaism. Maduro, who has succeeded the late Hugo Chavez, said that his grandparents were Sephardic Jews and that his government is critical of Israeli policy rather than the Jewish people. Caracas has been accused of anti-Semitism in recent years, especially after the Chavez government forged close ties with Iran and its country's leader Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Chavez himself also stoked controversy after state media and Chavez supporters tried to discredit election challenger Enrique Capriles last year for his Jewish heritage. Capriles, who ran against Chavez in last year's presidential election, is the grandson of Holocaust survivors. A director for the Anti-Defamation League said Chavez and his government...
Okay, so let's unpack this. They attempted to put a Zionist pawn in position to control Venezuela. Why? The same reason they're at war in proxy wars in the Middle East against Iran right now. Okay? So this was 12 years ago. They tried to put a proxy Zionist over Venezuela. You're going to find out why in a moment. right?
In last year's presidential election is the grandson of Holocaust survivors. A director for the Anti-Defamation League said Chavez...
I keep on hearing Holocaust survivors, Holocaust survivors. Okay, that's cool. I wonder when every time they speak about us, they're going to put behind our statements, slavery survivors. I would love every time they say Rawchaa or my world name that they put right before everything, hey, slavery survivor. It seems like they want us to remember this over and over again, but yet want to forget slavery. I just thought y'all understand there's a political reason why every time they put somebody up, they put what? A modifier with them. Okay, that modifier means something politically. Right? By saying to the world that I'm victim, by claiming victim, you owe me something. So they're not just saying Holocaust survivor just to say it. Holocaust survivor is saying, I'm a victim and the world owes me something for it. Okay? That's what it means. So I need them to put slavery survivor when they talk about us in any fashion, no matter where we are scattered. The Jews of the diaspora, the Israelites of the diaspora, slavery survivors. Okay? Because he looked like he survived to me, but he's still holding what? That modifier that gives him political protection, as well as what? The position to feign victim. Right? I'm Elder Rawchaa. I'm a slavery survivor. Okay? Let's go.
Controversy after state media and Chavez supporters tried to discredit election challenger Enrique Capriles last year for his Jewish heritage. Capriles, who ran against Chavez in last year's presidential election, is the grandson of Holocaust survivors. A director for the Anti-Defamation League said Chavez and his government used anti-Semitic rhetoric as a divisive political tool to scapegoat Jews, with Chavez holding a number of conspiracy theories, among them accusing Israel's Mossad intelligence agency of trying to kill him.
Oh, so who did he say was trying to get rid of him?
To kill him.
Hold up now. You heard that, other lawyer?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
So usually when something happens, you're seeking suspects or clues, you go back to the past and see what came from the person's mouth, right? So politically, the news stations are making this an American thing. But there's something else going on here. There's an alliance between Iran and Venezuela. They tried to put a Zionist in position, but they lost the election. And then Maduro came out and said that there's a problem because the people in Israel aren't the original people who left Israel. See? And if you put that out there, the whole thing is what people don't know, that Israel is a country that's made out of many people, predominantly Eastern European. So just because you went into the land of Israel doesn't make you an Israelite. It just only make you an Israeli citizen. The same way if you come to the United States and get citizenry, it makes you an American citizen through nationality on paper. It doesn't mean that you are indigenous to the land. See? A lot of people don't understand this. So a lot of people, simple Christians in the United States, was sold a bill of goods that 1948 was a restoration of the children of Israel who was scattered throughout the diaspora, when that had nothing to do with prophecy. Not the prophecy according to God's people going back into the land of Israel. It wasn't that prophecy. We're going to show you the prophecy of Edomites going into the land, folks, and what this means. So again, this has nothing to do with the United States. United States don't have a problem, never had a problem with Venezuelans. How do we know that, Elder? Well, if you have a problem with Venezuelans, why for the last 4 years before Trump, you were letting nothing but Venezuelans in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So we're going to make sense of this. Well, there was an old grudge. When Maduro was voted in, he had a known alliance with the Iranians. Okay? Mahmoud Ahmadinejad. Okay? In this alliance, there was an agreement for nuclear arms where Iran would finance Venezuela as a proxy, a strategic proxy to now war against the United States through Venezuela. See? But why? Why are they there now, New Year's Day? Well, Elder Lawyer, if you will, let's deal with the prophecy of Venezuela. Venezuela, brothers and sisters, Venezuela is from the tribe of Asher. They're Asherites. They're the indigenous people before the colonizers from the tribe of Asher who came over into the United States 718 BC. They were already here. Right? Let's go to Deuteronomy, going straight to it, Elder Lawyer. Get Deuteronomy 33 and 24 and Deuteronomy 8 and 9. Deuteronomy, for those who have read, who've seen the video, The 12 Lost Tribes Found. If you haven't seen that, I implore you go there, okay? Now, you have a lot of people who don't want to give this up, folks. What? You have a lot of Israelites who they mean well, but don't want to let it go. They mean well. They keep on saying that the white Jews from Europe that went into the Middle East are Ashkenazi. They keep saying that. And because there's a lot of you got Sephardic, Ashkenazi, self-proclaimed Ashkenazi. You have Israelites claiming that they're from the tribe of Japheth because of the Ashkenazi title they've taken on. Well, if you know the history of Amalek, of Esau, he what? He assimilates into every culture and calls themselves by the people names that he assimilate with. So when you see Ashkenazi, Esau once assimilated themselves amongst the ancient Japhetic people. And this is why a lot of Israelites are confused. So I don't blame them for going to Ashkenazi and seeing that, because white people told them they were Ashkenazis. Jewish people told them. See? The same way white people today on these reservations told people that they were North American Indians. They assimilated. See that? So I understand why they're doing it, but they need to do further research. There's no prophecy that say that Japheth would be in position to rule the world at the very end. It doesn't fit prophecy. You just can't use what they told you, and you know they lie. They lie every place they go. You can't take what they tell you and say, well, they're from Japheth because they told us this. There's Ashkenazi. Let's go to Genesis. Now, let's break down Venezuela real quick, Elder Lawyer, if you will. Let's go to Deuteronomy 33, verse 24.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 33 and 24. And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil.
And let him dip his foot in oil. So the same people the president of Venezuela called out 12 years ago is behind the war against Venezuela today for the same reason they're in the Middle East. See that? It tell you Asher would dip his foot in oil. The Most High blessed Asher with what? Serious mineral resources, including oil. That's Asher. Now let's give a precept to give that context, if you will, Elder. Let's go to Deuteronomy 8, verse 9.
Deuteronomy 8, verse number 9. A land wherein thou shalt eat bread without scarceness. Thou shalt not lack anything in it. A land where stones are iron, and out of whose hills thou mayest dig brass.
And out of thy hills thou mayest dig brass. When you precept that, it linked directly into that. Now, let's go back to Deuteronomy 33 and 24 and read both verses, Elder Lawya. The 24th and the 25th verse.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy 33 and 24.
Yes.
And of Asher he said, let Asher be blessed with children. Let him be acceptable to his brethren, and let him dip his foot in oil.
Read.
Thy shoes shall be iron and brass, and as thy days, so shall thy strength be.
So shall thy strength be. So what was our prophets prophesying concerning Asher? All of the mineral resources, including oil, they would hold under their feet in the last days. Huh? I need y'all to look at this real quick. Boom. Real Times. This was 2009, about the time the church began its ministry, folks. We had this stuff for years. Venezuela's boosts mining and metals with global deals. They were making global deals with Iran and different countries way back then. And that was an issue because they was borrowing out the United States. And through this, Venezuela had the best economy for its people during the time of Chavez and all that. Like it was in Libya, where all the money was going back to its citizenry. Venezuela was living good under Chavez. See? Because they were negotiating what? With their minerals. Check this out. Check this out. Let me read it. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro, this Real Times was since 2009, and they've been talking about this, but check it out. Check out what Maduro was doing earlier this year to why they came against him. Listen to this. Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro announced a major expansion of the nation's mining and metallurgy sectors on March 24th, 2025. Now, who are they negotiating with? This is why they get Maduro out of there, folks. He revealed new international agreements to revive industries hit hard by sanctions and neglect. Over 30 countries sent business leaders to the event, signaling fresh interest in Venezuela's resources. So this is why they wanted to put a puppet Zionist in position, but yet they lost the election. Earlier this year, what did Maduro do? He started meeting with 30 separate countries to negotiate outside of the Western countries that's aligned with Israel and the United States in specific. He would still let them negotiate, but they would hold the purse strings. They would set the terms for the mineral resources that was prophesied would be under Asher's foot. They started doing what? He signed deals to modernize solder's seamless tool plant with China's Zhongxi Foreign Company, aiming to restore steel output that plummeted from 4 million tons yearly in the early 2000s under 100,000 tons recently. That's why it says, when it says the brass, it's talking about the resources that are produced out of the mountains of Venezuela, like the Bible said those resources would be there. Hence the reason why the Zionists, using America as a proxy, are there. And it go into all the resources, right? Now check this out. The Aurora mines. Location, Venezuela. Well, what does Venezuela have, mind you? Huh? Let's look at this. Looky here. Exactly what our God said. A matter of fact, Elder Lawya, I need you to go back real quick to the 25th verse. The 25th verse on Asher. Read it.
Deuteronomy 33:25. Thy shoes shall be iron and brass.
Thy shoes shall be iron and brass. Let's check this out. What is Venezuela known for? Well, they got gold and everything there. They got oil. What a rich country. Folks, copper. As the Most High said it would be. Copper. Not only do they got oil, they have gold and they have copper. What would be under Venezuela's feet in the mountains and all of that? Brass. Huh? Tell me the Most High tell me the Bible isn't a living record, an identifier, a marker concerning where God's people would be scattered. Now, why is this so important? This is why Esau had to come looking for us. Any place the Most High scatter us, he put us in areas to be blessed. Even after we were scattered, we would go into areas where the Most High would provide for his children. Now, Esau, claiming to be God's people, are seeking to steal all the resources that were naturally, according to prophecy, given to us within the diaspora. Huh? Are y'all following me here? Are y'all following me here? Now, what I'm going to do for you all, just so y'all can have this prophetically, right? Because when we first started YouTube, there was no comment section, there was no chat, there was no nothing. I mean, it was a comment section, but there was no chat. So you would just have to do the research naturally. But what I can I can give you some of these links real quick so y'all can look at this yourselves to prove to others that the prophecies are true concerning the 12 lost tribes. The Venezuelans going from parts of Colombia into Brazil, and I'm not speaking of the Judites who went into Brazil, are predominantly Asherites according to the Bible. Okay? So in a nutshell, Esau is trying to steal all the resources in Venezuela. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. Okay? Hold tight. We're not going to be long. Now we're going to go into exactly what comes next in the war. Hold tight. Be right back. Part 2. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God in
Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Hebrew and Bible Academy, you are invited. Tomorrow we're going into the Abraham seed, and we're going to break down the lies they have taught us in modern day Christianity concerning Abraham and Abraham's children. Okay? They have lied on everything concerning the gospel of Christ. Okay? They have lied on everything. What do I mean by that? Well, this is what we mean by that. You good, Lawya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. This is what we mean by that. They lied about everything. Beyond 2025, hope after Armageddon. We're going to go into that, and we're going to break down Armageddon in the Academy. You need to be there. We're only week 3. If you enroll, guess what? We'll make sure you receive the 2 lessons you've missed to catch up before Sunday. We're going to go into the Abraham seed. They lied. Everything they were teaching was all about political leverage that would justify white people, Edomites, being in the land of Israel today, according to what? The prophecy that leads to a war at the Valley of Jehoshaphat. That's what they're there for. It has nothing to do with some Christians or some Israelites or Jews going back to the motherland. Okay? Their whole theology was political. What do I mean by that? If they could convince people that these white Eastern Europeans were God's people, through theology, they would have the backing of Christians to get a land that didn't belong to their forefathers. It was political. It was sold through propaganda and Hollywood. And the majority of the people who went into the land didn't even believe in Christ. So what did they do? They assimilate. That's what they do. They'll become Christians and set up evangelical schools of theology and teach replacement theology. What is replacement theology? Well, you're going to know what that is tomorrow. Their whole theology was to have the world forget that the blacks, we are the children of Israel, so that they could replace us as God's people. That's your Christian replacement theology. It was all a lie so that we wouldn't question strangers, Gentiles in the land in the last days. The same way they lied with our textbooks claiming that Christopher Columbus discovered America while the 12 tribes, the 10 tribes were already here. How can you discover a land where people are already here? So the same way they lied about that, they lied about them being the people going into the land. Replacement theology. We're going to talk about that, and guess what? Now that they can't use it anymore, they say, okay, let's go on to the next thing. Christianity was a thing when the ruling class could use it to politically rule over a people. It's the only reason they wanted it, because we would look at them as God's people. It was about reverencing our oppressors. Okay? So as soon as we figured out that we were the Israelites, they were like, okay, the gig is up. Let's move on to this. Let's move on to now bio-warfare. See? Bio-warfare. Hey, roll up your sleeves. Roll up your sleeves and get what's good for you. Because you know what? We have a white jacket on, and we really want you to survive through this. Right? Bring an old grandma and grandpa. Hey, you come get it. And guess what? Bring in your children too. Because, we love you all. Okay? The same people in all of their textbooks and white papers are telling the whole earth there's too many people. There's too many people. The earth is overpopulated, but they're going to give you something that's good for you. Now that you figured out that you're God's people, they're going to give you some good stuff. So when we talk about the warfare, understand that Esau, under Satan, operates on every level of warfare. And his greatest tool, number one, is psychological warfare first. Psychological. That means what? We first have to get them to think that we know better for them than they do. Okay? That we're the experts. See? Psychological. Where you start to think in your mind, which is simple as simple can be, you start to believe that they inherently are better than you in some shape or form, which is insanity. What's better than God's chosen people, folks? For anybody to look at any other race of people and say, you know what? They're better than us. You've been psychologically conquered. Okay? There's nothing better than God's people, folks. So psychological is to make you believe that you're less than. That's why they lied and claimed that we were Hamites. See? And then, guess what? Biological warfare. Throughout history, Esau have always used biological warfare. Right? They used to do things like put scorpions in people's beds, put a venomous snake in their political enemies' beds and stuff like that, and get rid of them there with a snake bite or something like that, until they found a way to what? Industrialize the snake bite. And through psychology, make you believe that if you get the snake bite, that it will help you down the line concerning a disease that you may not even come in contact with. But yet you now have to contend with what's in you. And they'll convince you. They'll look you straight in your face like, hey, here's the science on it. Right? Biological warfare. But then when the psychological part is exhausted and the biological part is exhausted, then they will lean towards the physical war with what? With physical engagement. That's the last stage when the other two doesn't work. Why should they engage or fight you when they've convinced you to off yourselves? See how it works? Now, if they came physically against us at first, we just would have rallied together, and guess what? No one can beat Israel when we join together. See? But if they can convince us to off our own children, And then have it where the women will sit around and say, why do we have so much mortality rates when it comes to black women having children? We have to get behind this. Could it be a snake bite? Could it be a snake bite you agreed to years ago that was really time released that would lead to what? You're not being able to have children or die having children. Could that be? For those who know what the snake bite is, the modern day snake bite, I just wanted to put that out there real quick. That means you cannot trust Esau. Esau, there was never a time during Esau's existence where he wasn't at war. From the time he was in the womb, Esau have been in war since his existence. That's his survival mechanism. Now that's from the biblical side of understanding Esau. From the logical side, one would understand why, even though we don't like being on the negative end of this, we can understand why he would do something, because you must set up what? A system of self-preservation when you are the smallest race in comparison to any other race. So how do they leverage that off? Through warfare, divide and conquer. It's a survival mechanism for them. Therefore, we cannot trust them. Everything they do is for self-preservation and survival. And unfortunate for us, for a lot of our people who trust these people, we're the threat. We're the threat. Listen, why we are the threat, not that we seek to harm anyone. Listen to this, folks. Israelites have been scattered throughout the four corners of the earth. We're like the sands of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. We're everywhere. And because of this, every place Esau goes to conquer, there's a chance that he will be birthed out of existence by an Israelite somewhere. Understand this. He can't escape us. So he set up what? He set up labs so that he can see what genome is an Israelite genome. Another reason they're in the land testing all the old graves and the bones of our forefathers so that they can come up with a bioweapon to kill the children of Israel. See? So even when we're not thinking about them, folks, our bloodline in existence according to prophecy is the threat. A matter of fact, believe it or not, the Israelites getting scattered have been our saving grace. If we were in one place, they would have gotten rid of us already. They would have gotten rid of us. But they set up institutions, clinics, hospitals so that they can get our biometrics, so they can get not just our biometrics, but our genes, because they understand the original strand. And the snake bites they've given us and our children, it equals the playing field for them, mentally and psychologically. If we're left alone without their science, we excel in every area above them. That's right. That's why the snake bites are imperative for their science, because it leverages off with, makes it where they're somehow on equal footing. We've been poisoned and we're still excelling them. See? Understand warfare, folks. Warfare isn't just bloodshed. That's the last stage in warfare. Psychological, biological, then the warfare becomes physical. Now, Elder Lawya, let's jump in. Let's go to Isaiah.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to Isaiah, the 54th chapter and the 16th verse. Isaiah 54. And let's read 16 and 17.
Yes, sir. Isaiah 54 and 16. Behold, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I have created the waster to destroy.
Behold, the Most High says, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire. I know Esau would like to give all credit to, what his name, Oppenheimer, whatever his name is, the guy who claimed that he was the guy who split the atom and all this other stuff. Well, no.
Yeah, Oppenheimer.
Thank you, Elder Lawyer. No, it was the Most High who put that in his mind to make it. Because only a fool would set up weapons that can blow up whole countries and think they can use it as a tool that will not eventually be utilized against them. See? Once the cat is out of the bag, the cat is out of the bag. So the Most High said, you know what? The pride of Esau's heart have deceived him. I'm going to put in his mind how to make it. And he's going to understand the danger of it. And he'll create it anyway. I'm going to have Esau off himself with this particular weaponry. Nuclear missiles. It was in the Bible. And see, what I try to do, I try to make these lessons simple for those who are not geopolitically savvy, who don't understand why every time we look, Israel and the United States saying that Iran is enriching uranium, we cannot allow them to have a weapon and all of this. I'm putting it in prophetic structure according to the word so you can understand why they keep saying this. Right? We heard that we have to bomb this area because they are enriching uranium in Iran. We cannot allow them to get a missile. Well, who taught them how to make a missile? So it was the Most High that put it in their mind, but they had a choice with it. They knew the dangers of creating it, but still did it anyway. See? And this is what you do when you're the minority, when you're the smallest amongst all people. You feel you need the weapons as leverage. See? And this is what will do what? It'll protect you not having the numbers when it comes to an army. You don't have the numbers to go against these other nations and to put them under your foot like you would want to. So you would use what? You would need a weapon that would leverage you off with power against the majority. Now, why do they need nuclear weapons? Well, at one point, I'm going to drop this on y'all. Listen to what I'm telling you. At one point, Judah was their nuclear weapon. In every war, when you let Judah loose, Esau would win. Even Hitler said, if you take the no-tell bear, talking about Jesse Owens, and our people out of the army, the Germany would overtake not just Europe, but America. Who did he call the no-tell bear? Blacks. Huh? And then he said the no-tell bear was Swatza. Well, that the Jews were Swatza, which was black. So he knew that the blacks were the Jews here in America. We were the nuclear weapon. We were. We were the Buffalo Soldiers. Every war you would send us out, we would win a war. And this is how the United States became great in warfare. Until the Civil Rights Movement, you had Kennedy and you had what? You had Kennedy and you had so-called Martin Luther King and others was saying, listen, why should we fight people overseas and all that when your people is at war with us here? We got to fight here. And Esau was like, oh, there it is. We're going to lose all of the enlistments of the blacks who really fueled the infantry and what? Any warfare on the earth, they would let Judah out there first as infantry to take things down. And they had fear losing that. Judah was the weapon until we began to politically dissuade our people from joining the armed forces. Huh? Let's talk a little history too if you want. Every place Judah would go, the Most High would have his, he would bless us. And Esau was using that to colonize and to take down opposing countries. Right? Behold, I've created the smith that bloweth in the coals of the fire. Read.
And that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. And I've created the waster to destroy.
And the Most High says he created the waster to destroy. He put it in their minds to create it. And they was crazy enough to not only do it, but to also use this as leverage in wars politically to bring in a order where Esau could control the earth. Right? He dropped one. They dropped some on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Speaking of the nuclear weapons, read on. But read
17.
Read 17.
No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment, thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord.
No weapon that's formed, even the nuclear missiles, shall prosper against the children of Israel, folks. Right? When the smoke's clear, the children of Israel will rise from the ashes. And they know it. See? No weapon. That's why we're not fearful of these particular weapons that the Gentiles have with their technology. Why? It was our God who put it in their minds and gave them the insight and science on how to make it. And the Most High assured us when he gave the knowledge to them that don't worry about it. This is not going to affect you. These fools are going to kill each other. Okay? These fools are going to kill each other. Y'all just sit back and watch the God of Israel, the God of the Hebrews, work. Just sit back and watch him work. Right? Let's go now, Elder Lawya, to Jeremiah 50 and 14. Jeremiah 50 and 14. Let's read that.
Yes, sir. The book of Jeremiah 50 and 14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord.
And this is the reason the Most High put it in their minds to create the weapons. Even when Trump, the first week Trump got into office, we heard about strikes in Tehran to hit areas where they think that they were enriching uranium or building missiles. And guess what Iran did a week later? They put out footage to show that they moved all their materials a week before the strike. Shapat showed that in the academy. So the same place where they were celebrating in the United States strikes on Iran, Iran put out another video to show all trucks that moved all the stuff they were supposed to have destroyed a week before it happened. And now we're coming around full circle because what? Iran has an alliance with Venezuela, and they need the resources from Venezuela in the war. So this is going to draw Iran out with what? With Trump striking, well, the Zionists using America to strike Venezuela. Right? It would have happened years ago, 12 years ago, if the Zionists were able to put their Zionist puppet in position 12 years ago. Iran would have had to engage in the war immediately. But now what's going on right now, Iran is not going to have no choice but to go into a war. That's where we are. But the Most High talked about this war. Right? Let's read it again.
Jeremiah 50:14. Put yourselves in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend the bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she hath sinned against the Lord.
For she hath sinned against the Lord. America has become the harlot and the joke for the world, of the world. And they intentionally made America as such. There used to be a moral standing with all nations looking towards America, especially when it came to God's people here. But now, what more, as far as character, what is America actually producing anymore? As far as integrity, spirituality, righteousness, absolutely nothing. Most High says, okay, let's get these missiles primed and pumped. Let's get this thing ready to go. Right? Let's go to the 25th verse, if you will, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 25. The Lord hath opened his armory, and hath brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord God of hosts, in the land of the Chaldeans.
In the land of the Chaldeans, the sorcerers, the Harry Potters, the warlocks. 26.
Come against her from the utmost border. Open her storehouses. Cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left.
Let nothing of her be left. This will break America's power. That will bring America below third world status, which will allow Europe to have what? Power 1 hour with the beast, which is the last 7 years according to the Jubilees calendar. The Vatican, the Satanists from the throne of the Vatican, as well as the Satanists who run Europe, will rule the earth. That's right, without any competition from the West. That's Revelation 17. See? Right now, what's going on with America right now, for those who don't know? America is in a fire sale, where for the last 10 years or so, they've been letting all the countries come in and take what they can to benefit themselves before the war. It's a fire sale. They want you to think it's just Somalia. No. It's a free-for-all. They open up the borders and say all the countries who have enslaved Israel, get the last out of what you're going to receive from this country that God's people built before it's shut down. Let me tell you, 15, 20 years ago, you had never seen Arabs would have set up a whole community where they would have what? Street signs, you know, that would have what? Muslim conquerors who killed Christians on the street signs. You had never seen that 15, 20 years ago in the United States. So it's not just Somalians, folks. They have sold the country and haven't told its citizenry yet. It's a free-for-all. Get what you can while you can, because now America has become expendable. And it's exposed without a heavenly hedge based on the sins perpetrated within America. Right? Read all the way down to the 27th verse. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Verse number 26. All right. Yes, sir. Verse number 26.
Read 27.
Yes, sir. 27. Slay all her bullocks. Let them go down to the slaughter. Woe unto them, for their day is come, the time of their visitation.
Her day has come. So eventually, what's going to happen? Read.
28. The voice of them that flee and escape out of the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion vengeance of the Lord our God, the vengeance of his temple.
So those on the outside of Babylon, when it happens, are going to declare, guess what? It's not just America. The same teachers who were teaching, like you see right now, are going to declare to the world, the old world, that they are next. Don't forget, none of this started happening on a large scale prophetically in the earth until Israelites began on these streets teaching the judgment that will soon come here. And the Most High must do what? He must justify himself. He must show forth the prophecy through his servants, so that the world will know that the Most High have begun to receive his teachers and prophets back. So the Most High is righteous. See? Throughout all empires, he never destroyed before warning that particular country. Going way back before Noah, and even after that, Sodom and Gomorrah. He always sent a warning first. He sent the warning to Nineveh. So you notice we started prophesying to the Israelites, and the prophecies started just coming. God's people started waking up. And then at the end of this, we're going to be on the outside of the country declaring, hey, see what's going on over there? You're next. Huh? All right, Elder Lawyer. Now, let's go to 2 Ezra 15. 2 Ezra 15, 34 through 47.
2 Ezra 15 and 34.
Yes, sir.
Behold, clouds from the east
Hold on,
the north.
Hold on, Elder. 24. Matter of fact, excuse me. 2 Ezra 15, 34. And we're going to read that down to about 47, okay?
Yes, sir.
Behold.
Behold, clouds from the east and from the north unto the south, and they are very horrible to look upon, full of wrath and storm.
Come on.
They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth,
When it says
even their own star.
When it says that they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth, these are heat-seeking missiles, where they'll have a missile that can what? Hone in on a missile that's come into a country and shoot it down before it gets to its destination, like we seen a few months ago, or during the time where they was doing a proxy war between Israel and Iran last year. Notice that the prophets are identifying what? A future prophecy. Why? Because these inventions of missiles weren't operating like this during their time. So what are they seeing when they see a fire come in? It looks like a star to the prophets. And they look like another missile coming, another star shooting it down. They're seeing what? Our current time, when the Most High began to allow these Gentiles to release missiles one against another. This is how the Most High this is how he frees his people. This is how he frees us. Because the Gentiles who conspired against us are now battling against one another. And we're just sitting back watching the show. We're not engaged in it anymore, if y'all notice. If y'all didn't notice this. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth. Read.
Even their own star. And blood shall be from the sword unto the belly.
Come on.
And the dung of men unto the camel's hoof. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth. And they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south, and from the north, and another part from the west.
It's speaking of mushroom clouds. Now that the arrows have been shot, or the missiles. 39.
And strong winds shall arise from the east, and shall open it, and the cloud which he raised up in wrath, and the star stirred to cause fear toward the east and west wind, shall be destroyed.
Come on.
The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up full of wrath, and the star, that they might make all the earth afraid. And them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place an horrible star.
So all the places that people are going for tourism, be it in England, be it in parts of New York, and France where the Eiffel Tower is, all of these places that are recognized is where you'll see the star being hit or the missiles being launched against. In all the popular cities. Read.
41. Fire and hail and the flying swords and many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters.
Tsunamis. 42.
And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and grass of the meadows, and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon, and make her afraid.
And after that, it started in the Middle East. We were there when it was happening. And then the missiles would begin to make their way to the daughter of Babylon. It's going to start in the Middle East first. That's why we told people, hey, man, even before it happened, we told people, do not stay within the borders of Israel. Christ is going to return us back into that. And now last year, we found out that the Jewish people and the families who supposed to have been prophetically restored into the land started in the thousands going back to Eastern Europe and Cyprus, as it was prophesied that their kings would flee to Kittim. And that 6 million sacrifice that we always hear over and over again, Holocaust means sacrifice. That's not speaking of past history. That's a future prophecy of the sacrifices they're going to give Satan for those who were in those borders, including Jordan. A lot of people don't know that the borders of Jordan is the land of Esau. So Esau already started rolling out there, and you got people talking about going back to Israel. You out of your mind. Look at this. I thought God restored them back, huh? I thought the Most High God, according to prophecy, it brought back God's chosen people, right? Look at this. Look at this here. Let me show it. I showed this a couple of weeks ago. A few months ago. Look at this. Y'all, look at this. This is just one area, one story. But they've been doing this for years. Israel see growing exodus. At least 82,000 leave country in 2024, folks. Don't you know they never stopped leaving the country? I thought this was God's people going into the promised land according to a prophecy. What prophecies say you're restored back into the land and then you leave again? So they went in to create the chaos we see right now in the Valley of Jehoshaphat so that they can leave. Of course they would have a place to go back to. They weren't being persecuted in these other areas they came out of when they went into Israel in 1948. They had family in Eastern Europe. They're just going back home. look at it there. Huh? What you want? What you want? There was no prophecy of them going back and having the Holy Land and all that. Okay. This destabilized the area, leading to the final war. They're doing exactly what the Bible said they was going to do. Okay? They getting the Hades out of there. And this is, folks, I got many stories. They've been leaving for the last 5-6 years, and you got some simpletons talking about let's go to Jordan, and simpletons talking about let's go into Israel. You're going to be the sacrifice. Esau what you think he getting the hell up out of there for? He started the war that's coming there. All right. Let's end it up. Come on.
Yes, sir. Verse 44. They shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven. And all they that be about her shall bewail her.
All they that be about her shall bewail her. And guess what places are going to catch really the brunt of the initial strikes? Remember, you heard it here. It's going to be New York and it's going to be California. New York and California. And when it happens, guess what? It's real time real. That's why they have all these movies, Escape from New York, where there's no bridges and all that, and people trying to get to the mainland and all that. These post-war apocalyptic movies. And where's the most sin deriving from within the United States? New York and California. Yep. Isaiah 58, 1 and 2. Let's go there. Isaiah 58, 1 and 2.
Isaiah 58 and 1. Cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet. and show my people their transgression, and the house of Jacob their sins.
That's why the Most High said, cry aloud, spare not. Tell our people where we have gone wrong concerning what? The expectations the Most High have always had for us. In an effort that we can be saved through the fire. How? Read the second verse.
Verse 2. Yet they seek me daily, and delight to know my ways, as a nation that did righteousness, and forsook not the ordinance of their God. They ask of me the ordinances of justice. They take delight in approaching to God.
So it's time for us to come back to the Almighty, understanding prophecy, where we are today. Let's go now to Isaiah 13, Elder Lawya, to show, according to the prophecy, what nation will be used at the very end, which goes back to Venezuela and their connection with Iran. Let's go to Isaiah 13.
Yes, sir.
Let's read that. Let's go straight down
Isaiah.
to the Medes.
Yes, sir. The book of Isaiah, chapter 13, and verse number 17.
Let's read it.
Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them.
I will stir up who?
I will stir up the Medes against them.
I will stir up the Medes against them. See? The Medes are who? Iran. That's the ambassador that we read about in the book of Obadiah. Who took down, folks? Who took down the ancient Babylonians? The Persians and the Medes. So who will take down the current day Babylon, or daughter of Babylon? The ambassadors. Iran, the same people who the Most High used in ancient times to take the power from the original Babylon. Hence the reason Israel was in the Middle East to start this proxy war to stave off the imminent enemy who was prophesied to destroy the daughter of Babylon. It's Iran. And part of that war is taking away the resources Iran has obtained through its relationship with the Asherites, the Venezuelans. The Venezuelans. See that? Crystal clear, right? Elder Lawya, there's many things I would like to go into, but I'm going to open it up for the people that have answered some questions. But let's bring it to Christ now. Let's go to Isaiah 61. Isaiah 61, because through all of this, we have to see the end game. And I talked about that from the beginning. For those who missed it in the original, in the beginning of the lesson, I said that even in the beginning of this ministry, there was some trepidation and there was some questions I had within myself, wondering, what is all this for? What am I doing this for? Right? And the Most High made it clear. You're doing it because it gives you a purpose and a duty to the God who created everything. Is that not enough? This gives you purpose and duty. Without this connection to our God, it doesn't matter what we do in this life, we will be forgotten. We will not be remembered if we don't serve our purpose and our duty while there's time. Let's go to Isaiah 61 and let's read it.
Isaiah 61:1. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord have anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound.
It says, and to proclaim liberty to the captives. It's the truth that sets us free. We're no longer bound under the illusion that just because someone have money, status, or power, we're no longer under the delusion that they're better than us, better than our people because of it. We're not under that delusion anymore. We understand the only reason these people are in power is because our forefathers sinned and nothing more. Nothing more. They received everything that they have gotten through default. See? And now the Most High set us free from believing that we have to depend on these people or lean on their educational understanding to how all of this works. When these people, according to God, are nothing. See? Read the second verse. To proclaim what?
To proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God.
And the day of what?
And the day of vengeance of our God. To comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, and the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness.
So at the end of this, the Most High is going to give us the garment of praise for all the heaviness we've endured here. See, we seek total resolve in our present life, and it wasn't meant for us to have total resolve. We get happiness in spurts, and we're going to have bad days. But it's the Most High don't want us to experience a euphoria under a curse. So he's saying, listen, you have to work for this. Yes, I'm going to give you spurts of happiness through this curse, but understand you're not going to get any rest or peace that you've been praying for until my son returns. You must endure. To give them beauty for ashes, oil for joy, oil of joy for mourning. So even when we mourn those we love, at the end of it, when Christ returns, all of that's gone away because those we mourn will be present with us. Hey, where you been? We've been waiting for you. We're going to be like, oh, Mom, Dad. Like, hey, we've been chilling out the whole time. So all that mourning we're doing in this life, the Most High is going to show us all the people who have made it to the other side that we miss and mourn. And it's going to be like they never left us. To appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning. Read.
The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness.
For all the hell we have endured from these enemies who silently attacked us and kept us down, we have total relief, folks, with no fear of it ever happening to our people again. What I'm preaching to you is what Christ preached when he was what? When he went into the synagogue. When the Most High sent him after the baptism. To what? To preach the good word. See? The garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Read.
That they might be called the trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified.
Come on, that who might be glorified?
That he might be glorified.
And that's what's wrong with this world, folks. In this world, it's about self-glorification. That's what's wrong with this world. It's about your personal fame. And it's not about glorifying the Most High. 4.
And they shall build the old waste, they shall raise up the former desolations, and they shall repair the waste cities, the desolations of many generations.
Now we're talking about what? The building of the new Jerusalem in our homeland when Christ returns. That's the repatriation back to the land. After the enemy have been subdued, then the land will be built. What we see in 1948 was nothing more than an Edomite political play that would lead to what? War in the Middle East, the volley of Jehoshaphat, which will finally lead to the final war when Christ returns. 1948 had nothing to do with Israelites going into Israel. It was the Most High put them there to stoke the war that leads to our deliverance. He let them go there, knowing that every place they go, they cause trouble. Okay? The Bible says when we're back in the land, the earth shall not study war anymore. There'll be no war when Christ returns, when we're in the land, because we're peaceful people. The Most High had them go there knowing that it would speed up the prophecies. Every place they go, there's bloodshed and war because that's all Esau have ever known. It's to stir that pot that leads to those missiles getting shot throughout the earth. 5.
And the strangers shall stand and feed your flocks, and the sons of the alien shall be your plowmen and your vine dressers.
So the Gentiles are going to work for the children of Israel in the kingdom. And it's a righteous work. Ain't no whipping people, ain't no separating people from their family. It's going to be a lawful, righteous agreement. And guess what? The Gentiles aren't going to have a problem working. I'm going to tell you why. This is their empire, and they're forced to work in their own empire. So they would rather work under a righteous setup because at least they get something for their work. A blessed kingdom that have come to earth that they can partake of. They'll be able, once a year, they'll come at Jerusalem and take of the tree of life, and a leaf will heal them for the whole year without sicknesses. That means to hell with Obamacare and all that trap that comes with that garbage. It's about what? You take one leaf and your health care plan is fulfilled for the year because you cannot get sick. Total life without death. So what Gentile wouldn't work for that? You see some of these people talking about, when I get in the kingdom, hey, we're going to be whipping y'all women. Man, what scripture are you reading? Who wants a kingdom where you killing and beating up people? These people are crazy, folks. Then they go to scriptures and take it out of context. Isaiah 13 and those scriptures aren't talking about what we'll be doing with other people. It's talking about what would happen when the war comes to the cities, and now the Iranians and others are raping women and all that, like we seen during the time of the Iraqi war, Abu Ghraib, when they were going in and raping their women, like we see at Gaza and all that. That's what it's talking about. The unrighteous using an opportunity to use their authority to rape and pillage women and children, like we see in Gaza right now. That's what it's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
We're not supposed to be the people saying, "Oh, we got the kingdom now, and let me go and ravish a woman." These people are crazy, folks. What type of kingdom would Christ bring with some fool talking about he want to go and take a woman against his will? Are you that thirsty? All the glory that comes with the kingdom of heaven, and that's all these carnal nut jobs can think about, what woman they're going to take against their will. They crazy. And now we got to sit around and explain to our loved ones and all that. Well, no, those people are crazy. And this is why the Gentiles and the satanic Jesuits, this is why they signal all of that out before people who are looking up Israelites, because they want the most unhinged, nutty doctrine to come before the truth that Christ would bring through his people. And we got to sit down and explain to our family, no, I know they said that Israelites are saying this. Those people are nuts, okay? They were nuts during Christ's time. That was against Christ. Christ was the Israelite of Israelites that we should follow, according to his disciples. Make it clear, because we have to explain to people, no. It was one guy seen some video, he got so amped up, he went and punched a wall while teaching the Bible. When I get my hand on Esau, I'm like, yo. His knuckles bleeding. I'm like, brother, you need to go sit on somebody's couch. Right? Okay, let's go where you picked off at. Let's pick off from that, because we got to round it out.
Yes, sir. Verse 6. But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord.
Read it again.
But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord.
But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. That's our reward at the end of this. Those in Christ will become the priesthood. Read.
Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory shall ye boast yourselves.
And in their glory shall you boast yourself. We're not going to have to pump our chest and all that. The Gentiles are going to say, these are definitely God's people. I knew there was something about these people. And then the Gentiles are going to show so much appreciation. Why? Because what people who've been oppressed for thousands of years, hundreds of years, when given the opportunity, isn't going to seek vengeance against other people? Vengeance is the Lord's. After the first 7-year war, there will be no war after the first 7 years. It'll be rest after the 7-year Jubilee. So they're going to look at us like, man, if we had an opportunity based on what we did to y'all, we would set up restaurants in your area selling you poison. We'd set up beauty shops, hating on you, calling you different names and all that. And they're going to look at us and be like, you're not going to do anything to us? They're going to be like, these are definitely God's people. No, we're not going to do anything to you, but you're going to have to work. Clean up the earth, your people, including you, destroy. That's it. The Gentiles are going to boast our name. We're not going to have to now remind people and reteach the world that our people are the lost tribes of Israel. It's crazy that we have to tell people that we're the people. It's insane. It's evident we're the people. Nowhere in the Bible does it say the children of Israel would be ruling the world at the very end, when it was prophesied that God's people would go into captivity. It's evident we're the people. Read on.
Verse 7. For your shame ye shall have double, and for confusion they shall rejoice in their portion. Therefore in their land shall they possess the double. Everlasting joy shall be unto them. For I, the Lord, love judgment. I hate robbery for burnt offering. And I will direct their work in truth. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which the Lord have blessed.
The whole world will acknowledge that we're that seed. Read.
10. I will greatly rejoice in the Lord. My soul shall be joyful in my God. For he hath clothed me with the garments of salvation. He hath covered me with the robe of righteousness. As a bridegroom decketh himself with ornaments, and as a bride adorneth herself with jewels.
We're the Jews. We're the Jews. Read.
For as the earth bringeth forth her bud, and as gardens causeth the things that are sown in it to spring forth, so the Lord will cause righteousness and praise to spring forth before all the nations.
Before all the nations. That's the reward we receive at the end of this, that makes this work worth doing. Let's end it out here, Elder. Let's go to Isaiah 66, 18 and 19.
Isaiah 66 and 18. For I know their works and their thoughts. It shall come that I will gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my glory.
All the Gentiles who make it in Christ will see the glory of the Almighty on earth and know that we were always God's people. Read.
19. And I will set a sign among them, and I will send those that are escaped of them unto the nations, to Tarshish, Pul, and Lud, that draw the bow, and to Tubal and Javan, to the isles afar off. That have not heard of my fame, neither have seen my glory. And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles.
And they shall declare my glory among the Gentiles. So this is what, brothers and sisters, the 19th verse? This is the true definition according to God for those who would be what? Famous. Famous is to be remembered, not just in this world, but the world to come. Fame comes with those who proclaim Christ's ministry. This is why what? Christ, since he came to this earth, have never been forgotten. I need y'all to think about that. He's talked about more now than he was when Christ walked the earth. He's spoken about in more circles throughout the earth now than when he physically walked the earth. That's the true meaning of fame. And guess what? Those in Christ would take that fame over anything Satan and the synagogue of Satan has to offer our people as a what? As a temporary status. But the status we're talking about here out of the Bible, folks, that status lasts forever. We're the Most High jewel, the children of Israel who will stand after the war. We just have to what? Avoid and navigate through what? Their psychological war, their biological war. See? Psychological and biological. We're not worried about their physical war, not being hedged by the Almighty. If we can overcome those two, psychological, don't listen to anything they say concerning what's better for you or your family. Biological, don't allow anything to happen to your children when something go into your children that can give them some adverse illnesses. When now you have to now operate with a broken child. Okay? Don't trust anything they say, because Esau is what? He's in perpetual war against everyone. With that, I can open it up for a few questions, and then we'll get ready for tomorrow. Abraham Seed, Hebrew and Bible Academy. And for those who don't know, this academy is off the chains already. Beyond 2025, hope after Armageddon. And get ready for many false flags in the coming year. We're talking about what? 2026. So-called 2026. Get ready for a bunch of false flags that will justify what? Military on the ground within the United States. Get ready for it. They're going to use the Somali thing and all of that. They're going to do the same thing they did over in Gaza. Okay? So be careful. Stay prayed up, sin not. We will soon see Zion. Beyond 2025, hope after Armageddon, week 3, we'll be dropping the truth concerning Abraham. And we're going to expose the lying theology of the Christians claiming that God have done away with his people, so that these criminals we see can now before the world claim to be God's people as the church. What church? Where's Christ's church in this earth? A bunch of crazy, satanic, evil people in position, ran by Sodom and Gomorrites. So that and more we're going to talk about Sunday in the academy. You can still enroll. Go to historytimes.org to enroll. Also, if you would like, you can donate and help the church. GOCC report is the Cash App, $ GOCC report. Make sure it's spelled like that, because others are making Cash Apps close to this so that it can mix up and you can send the money to them. Probably some overseas scammers from India and others from other countries who find their way of stealing money. It has to say $ GOCC report. That's the only Cash App we have. Okay. The other thing, if you would like to donate outside of Cash App, you can go to gatheringofchrist.org, and all those options for donation, including for this ministry, this online ministry, is an option, including what? The I Am Royal Academy for our children. Okay. We need financial resources to support this, because what? There's nuts with septum rings and all this other stuff teaching our children in school. All right? All due respect to them. The insane are running the asylum, okay? We have to now teach our children separately, knowing that they're seeking to implode, if not already, the whole educational system. All right? With that, I hope you've been edified. Go to gatheringofchrist.org. Support the work. And next week, I would like to announce there will be a baptism. There will be a baptism. I spoke to Quadam yesterday. He's going into Colorado. We spoke about it. And while he's there in Colorado, I'm going to have him and Deacon Yashar do a baptism for all those in Colorado who would like to be baptized, okay? And you've been following the church for a while. I'm going to make some exceptions, knowing that time is short, where even if you need to get baptized and then join the baptism class and all of that for the next couple of months so that you can at least be in the know for the doctrine. At least you have that opportunity to be baptized while there was this opportunity. So we're trying to speed things up in people instead of people waiting all this time. So as long as you get into the baptism class to understand the doctrine you're baptized in, we will allow those who would just like to be baptized in Colorado and would like to be a part of the church, we will allow you next week to be baptized, okay? So if this interests you, Elder Lawya, I'm going to have them in particular, only from Colorado, send an email to goccSouth@yahoo.com, Elder Lawya. All right?
Yes, sir.
And that way, for those in Colorado specifically, we can reach out to, have Yashar call them so that we can have a baptism there. I'm sorry I can't get there. I'd rather do a mass baptism myself, but right now we're going to have to, this week I'll be burying some of my loved ones. Okay? All right? So, and if you aren't baptized, we will make time to get to Costa Rica and all these other areas. Don't worry about it. We will make time. You'll hear of those announcements soon. What I'll do now, real quick, if you have any questions concerning doctrine or something, here is your time. You can text 445-888-2759, and I'll open up the next 10 minutes for Q&As. The next 10 minutes. All right? In the meantime, let me go here first. For those who have questions, you can text 445-888-2759, or you can come in real quick through Zoom, and I'll be more than happy to answer a few questions for those who come into Zoom. Now, if you're going to come into Zoom, it requires you showing your face when you speak. I won't show you live, but people tend to do what? Troll. And we want to make sure that you are of, that you come in good faith. All right? We're going to make sure that you come in good faith. All right? For those who have any questions outside of that, you can text either in the comment or you can text 445-888-2759. And I'll be more than happy to answer any question. All right? A matter of fact, you can call in 445-888-2759. 445-888-2759. We'll answer any question you might have. And this will conclude our lesson for this Sabbath. Beverly, thank you. I appreciate, my family appreciate the sentiments. We appreciate you. Okay, let's start here. Today. Let's start here. Okay, 901, I'm calling you.
Hello?
Yeah, Zaire, give me 1 second. 901, you just called?
Yes, Shalom.
Shalom, who's this?
My name is Gerald Coleman.
Okay, blessing, brother. Shabbat Shalom. From what city and state you're calling?
Memphis, Tennessee.
Okay, Memphis, Tennessee. What say you? Comment or question?
We so shocked right now. I called the number because I was just gonna text, and I'm coming to question.
Okay, brother, but hey, time is of essence. Talk to me. Is there a purpose for the call or no? Are you just happy to get?
Yeah, it's good to hear your voice, man. I really would love to meet you guys. And
Thank you. It's great to hear your voice too, my brother. But I'll tell you what, I'll call you when outside this. Now that I got your number, and let's get somebody in that has questions. Okay, I'll call you.
Okay.
All right, blessings. I'll bring you in a second, Zaire. Yes, 831, talk to me. 831 area code.
Yes. You hear me?
Yes, can you turn me off in the background, please?
Yeah, it's nothing on.
Okay, talk to me, sir. Your name, location?
Yeah, our name is Izzy.
Yes, Izzy. Blessings, Shabbat Shalom to you. The floor is yours. Talk to me.
Yeah, I was just kind of wondering. I was just listening to the video. And I kind of was just curious about, like the scriptures that talk about, because we look at the scriptures that talks about all these things that are going to happen in the earth.
Yeah.
But like when I see the scriptures, like how it talks about how the weapons of God's warfare are not carnal.
Yeah.
So how do you see that scripture?
Well, that's a good question. I see that scripture is because the Most High's weapons of warfare are not carnal. It's spiritual war. But the carnal weapons are carnal, right? The carnal people weapons are carnal, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
Carnal,
all right.
Yes.
So knowing that, we're not going to win a war against the Gentiles carnally. See? Our warfare is spiritual. Like, for instance, it didn't take me no gun. It didn't take me a knife or anything physical to pull people into the Word of God and to have them serve the living God. Nothing physical was utilized for that. The Spirit awakened God's people. When the Gentiles, they colonize and force people into religion through carnal warfare. See the difference? See how our spiritual teaching without harming anyone have given them access to the throne. That's the example of the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal. We didn't have to force people to find God. The Spirit of the Almighty through the Holy Spirit have awakened them. So you just suppose the spiritual side of the warfare against how Esau used carnal warfare to put people under subjection. You understand that?
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah, I get what you're saying and the logic behind it. I'm just highlighting that, like if Esau's or any of the nations, like we could say that their weapons are carnal because of course we know they're carnal people. But what I'm saying is that when we're saying that God is going to come and do things carnally to them, then that means his weapons would be carnal.
Okay, well, who said that the Most High is going to do something carnally to anyone? You heard me say that?
No, I'm saying we're talking about how the Most High is going to
brother.
the nations.
Hey, brother, we're going to slow it down.
Right.
We're going to we're going to slow it all the way down now. Because maybe you misheard something. There's nothing we said that would imply that the Most High is going to carnally do something to someone. Right? But if someone died in a war when Christ returns, you may see that as carnal, but the Most High see that as judgment. You know when Christ comes to judge the wicked that many people are going to die, right? You know that, right?
When Christ comes to judge the wicked?
When Christ, I'm going to repeat it again. I don't know if you hear me clearly. When Christ, okay, listen to me again. When Christ appears to judge the wicked, that many people are going to die in judgment. You understand that?
I do understand that.
Okay. Would you consider that a carnal judgment?
No.
Okay. So we on one accord then.
Oh,
Now-
no, what I'm
because
saying is-
because
what I'm
because
saying-
now we understand the difference between the two. So I don't
Right.
understand your point when you said, well, you don't understand when it says the weapons of God's warfare aren't carnal. It isn't carnal because we're teaching. Let me show you the weapon of the Most High right here. I can do more with this book without harming one person than Esau can do with any weapon. So that's what that means. Right? Here's my weapon right here. The Holy Bible. So my weapons, the weapons of, we can do way more in gathering people under one mind spiritually without harming one person using the Spirit of the Almighty. And it'd be the Holy Spirit that would gather his people. That's more powerful than having a weapon to force people into believing in God or whatever mankind would like to push. That's the example.
right.
So
Right.
where's the misunderstanding coming in that is what I'm trying to understand.
I mean, no. I mean, really, there's a like a whole. I mean, there's so many. I mean, I know we don't have time for all that.
Okay,
But I
I'm
mean,
going to
there's
ask you
really a
again.
lot.
Where is the misunderstanding?
I mean, I'm answering it. I mean, you kind of like you keep. I don't know why you're cutting me off.
I'm going to tell
I'm
you
saying-
why. I'm telling you why because you have to be
Oh,
direct,
okay.
and I'm dealing with time with other people who are waiting. So you got to be direct.
I'm being very. Okay. Well, I'm saying that we understand that when the Most High is speaking about, you know, the weapons and all these things, I mean, the scriptures tell us that it's a sword of the Spirit, sword of truth. So I'm saying that we know what the truth is. So there's no misunderstanding of what God is saying when he's speaking of the truth. Like, if we understand what the truth actually is.
Hey, brother, I'm trying to edify. I'm going to say it again. What is the misunderstanding between what we were talking about today and how you are perceiving what we're saying? Where is
Okay,
that
well,
disagreement?
Well, the misunderstandings for me is that we're still looking at things carnally. Like everything that's happening that you're saying that God is doing to the other nations and the things that he's going to have the other nations do to the earth. I mean, it's all carnal things. I mean, like, even when it comes to the judgment.
Brother,
like, we're
brother,
saying
again.
that- I mean, I'm
brother,
answering
brother,
the
let me tell you,
question. You doing
brother,
that.
brother, you are confusing the matter. And until you get to the point, if you don't get to the point, because again, whatever
I
the
just
most,
did.
hey, brother, no, you didn't. Ask the people in the comment section whether or not you got to the point. You haven't.
Well, you keep, because you're cut. I mean, respectfully. I mean, but you keep cutting me off.
Brother,
though.
the reason why
I
I'm
haven't
cutting
been
you
speaking
off
for
because
20
you're talking in circles.
Okay. I mean, that's to you, maybe. Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
yeah, because I'm edifying through the scriptures. Where's your
But you're not
edification?
trying to hear what I'm saying, though.
Brother,
Respectfully,
listen,
you're
brother,
not trying to hear it.
brother, you need to just sit back and learn, okay?
I have learned.
Okay, keep on learning. All right?
I'm
Keep on learning.
well.
Right? Because if you could teach, you wouldn't be on the phone with me trying to contend on the Sabbath. You would have somebody listening to you. Hold tight. And I'm hey, brothers and sisters, I'm going to answer to why I've dealt with this brother this way. Right? I dealt with this brother this way is because he's coming in. The brother's coming in. He's coming in disingenuous. It can't get any clearer concerning what we broke down in the lesson today concerning how things will unfold on the earth. There's no confusion on this part. When the Most High set up empires and had Babylon taken down by the Persians and the Medes, there was physical war there. Okay? So is that saying that the Most High is carnal? So that's a ridiculous argument that leads to nowhere. And these are people who would like to teach, but don't realize why no one will ever learn from them, because they confuse themselves. He don't need to be contending or debating. He need to be learning. If he don't know the difference between spiritual warfare and carnal warfare, that's not an issue with me. The issue is with him believing that he knows the Bible. And he's too proud to say, you know what, Elder, I don't know. He's too proud for that. See? And if he could do what he was doing, if he knew better, then he would be teaching right now. Okay? So I would pray for the brother, but I made it clear to him the difference. You got spiritual warfare, you got physical warfare. And when we say the Most High put it in the minds of them to create the waster to destroy, yes, that's a carnal weapon. But when men use it, that's the carnality. When they have a choice to follow the Spirit of the Almighty. And that's what the brother that's why he don't understand the difference between the two. Okay? So, we can't waste time because there's people who actually would like to get some edification today. All right? And I'm not going to make it between him and I because it's a waste of time. Zaire, you can unmute, sir.
Shalom, shalom. Happy Sabbath.
Bless Shabbat Shalom. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Can you hear me well?
Yes. Let me make sure. And I gave him a time to be able to explain what he was saying, like what was the disagreement, and he couldn't get there. So, yes. Say something, young man.
Yes. Check 1, 2.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you loud. What's your name? Zaire?
Yes, brother Zaire.
Okay. Question and no comment. Talk to me.
I have a question, or a comment and a question.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to commend you, brothers. I've been watching you and Elder Lawya for about since 14 years old. I'm now 27.
Look at that.
Yeah, I've been watching y'all for a very long time. My dad introduced me to you, to y'all. He was in the same situation you was at, the first church, I believe he told me, in 125th Street, Israelite Church.
Yeah, it was called, we were with the, when I was a kid, actually. I was in my early 20s. The Israeli School of UPK, and then eventually it splintered off. It became the Israeli Church of UPK. I became a general up in there, and the rest is history. All right.
Yes, same reason you left. He did the same, and he introduced me to you. Like I said, when I was 14.
Hey, brother, I would like to always correct this. I didn't leave. Okay, I didn't leave. All right. I was told to leave, but no one ever told me why. But look at the ministry. I understand why now. Once I put my foot into something, and I'm dedicated to a work, I don't walk away from it. So I didn't say, hey, y'all are doing this, that, the other, I'm going to leave. No, I would probably been there, but based on what I'm learning, I would have begun to fix things while there. And they probably would have kicked me out for that anyway. But again, no one ever told me why I was gone. They told me to get up and leave, but now I understand why. The Most High put it in them to do so. Okay, but I want to make that clear. When I'm in something and I know and I believe it's true, I'm in it to the end of it. And if it would have been right there and they would have told me to leave, maybe the Most High was moving me into something, I don't know. But wherever he moved me, it would have been fixed there. Okay?
Yes, sir, I agree.
All right, but go on.
And yeah, like I was saying, I was just watching y'all for a very, very long time. My question is though, I was baptized in 2019, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I'm now in a situation. I just need some advice for it because the class that you presented out, really good, edifying class.
Thank you. Praise the Most High.
But it also kind of frightens me I know the Most High doesn't give the spirit of fear, but I'm in a situation where I got a condition, medical condition, and there's like it's a lot I can't even do.
Okay,
I'm trying
it's fine.
to do.
What is your medical condition?
It's called POTS.
And what is that?
It's well, I can say the acronym. It's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. It's a condition where if I stand up for a long period of time, it can make me really dizzy, lightheaded, also faintish.
Okay, all right. Is that something that's autoimmune? Something that came through an adverse reaction, getting stuff up in you?
Well, they told me it's a nerve issue.
Listen,
but...
they always say. Let me show you something real quick, young man. Look at your screen.
Okay.
Look at your screen. On the screen, real quick, and I'm going to show this Sunday. It's a thing. They was like, and this is not from me. This is from the National Library of Medicine, okay? The National Library of Medicine. Y'all can look this up yourself, right? Now, this is not me. I started looking into things, including the shots, right? So I want you to see something. Look down here where it talks about different side effects, right? It talks about inflammatory arthritis, skin rashes, even alopecia. A lot of our sisters who lose their hair and don't want to say anything because they understand they're losing their hair and they need to get the weaves and the wigs because they don't know it could be something that a choice that was made to help them is an actual side effect where they have hair loss at an early age, right? And they don't know that it's inflammation and autoimmunity, and they don't know it's from some of the stuff they chose to get, right? So I started looking into these things, and I started even when it comes to blood vessels, right? Right?
Yeah.
Inflammation in the blood vessels, right? So who knows how long we've been affected by some of this stuff that we were told was for something else. You understand?
Yes,
so
sir.
I use this as an example to say, hey, don't ever agree to anything that you don't know the side effects of it long term first, because they'll always try to explain it off as some type of genetic dysfunction with you. And they'll try to claim that they don't know where it's come from, it's genetic, and that it could be hereditary, but they'll never tell you what was in the excerpts of some of the stuff we received that our mothers and fathers trusted blindly. Okay? So again, a lot of inflammation, you can't walk, arthritis, and certain things that are happening, it could be a direct result of some of what we're seeing here. So what they'll tell you, this is what they'll tell you though. When you do find out, it'll tell you that what you decided to get outweighs the associated risk, even though one of the risks could be fatality. That means you're in the spiritual world waiting for your change as a side effect. But guess what? The risks, right? The benefits outweigh the risk. So who does this benefit is the question. They'll have you believe through their psychology that it benefited you. But yes, the benefits do outweigh the risk for them. If the benefit is for you to get jammed up and now you're in the spiritual world waiting for the change. Okay? So I wanted to put that out there. Usually the majority, young man, of our health issues stem from one place. Our parents made decisions believing that they were doing what was right for us, but they were tricked. They were deceived into believing that they would be unfit parents, listening to the enemy who was seeking to destroy their children. Got that? But you're asking, well, since you're dealing with an adverse reaction or something wrong, that you fear what's going to happen to you. Young man, you have nothing to fear. Serve the Most High. Keep his commandments. Utilize the faith of the saints, young man, and you'll be healed. What you need to do now, how long have you been dealing with this condition?
We're almost going on 3 years now.
2 years. Now let me ask you, and be honest.
Yes, sir.
Be honest. You don't have to be ashamed.
Yes, sir.
When all that stuff broke out and people were scared based on the pandemic and all that, did that lead you into getting at least a shot or two?
No, sir. I was not. I was in England at the time. I was trying to congregate with over there, and I never got the jabby jab.
Okay. At any time in your life growing up as a child, have you ever received any type of stuff in you that could one day, as your immune system get compromised, be time released? Let me put it that way.
That is a yes. That was the last time I checked. I looked at my records, was about 12 years old. Yes.
12 years old. Your parents did something believing that it was the right thing to do for you to go to school or whatever, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, there's some stuff naturally that you can get that can help you with that issue. Okay? What I would suggest is text me at 445-888-2759. Okay?
Is that the number shown on the
The number showing on the screen.
Okay.
Text me, and I'm going to text you what you would need to be able to begin to heal the damage that would not have been there otherwise. They tricked our parents into allowing biowarfare on their own children. Okay? We can't blame the parents. We were shamed into believing that we were unfit unless we listened to those who claimed they knew what was better for us. Okay? So it's the enemy is going to do what the enemy does.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right? But now what we're going to do is work on not just prayer, but putting the correct things in your body, Zaire, that could reverse the poisons. Okay?
I didn't even know there was something they told me there was no cure for this. So I was just...
Brother. All right, let me drop down let me drop this when someone say there is no cure. I mentioned earlier that some of the greatest weapons that Esau has are what? Psychological first, right?
Yes,
then biological, right? With them being the smallest amongst all races of people, they must trick and deceive people to even the playing field, knowing they're outnumbered. So psychological. Christ said have faith, right, young man, Zaire?
Yes, sir.
He told the woman that was healed that as much faith lies within you, today be healed. Right?
Yes, sir.
So it's he put the onus on her to have what?
Faith.
There you go. Now, if you, being a psychological nut job, speaking of these doctors and these psychologists that have tricked the world into trusting these dingbats, If they tell the saints that something cannot be cured, right? Then your belief system will not allow you to overcome the sickness, because they've capped you with a ceiling to have you believe that something cannot be cured. Who the Hades are them? Who are they? So if they can convince God's people who has power beyond them that something cannot be cured, you can only exercise that amount of faith to be cured. Now, if Christ was standing before you, he would say, as much faith lieth life within you, young man, be cured. And you had faith in a power beyond this world, you'll look at your illness as something that can be easily overcome. And you'll work in your spirit to overcome it.
In your spirit, yeah, that makes sense. Because I've been trying everything, like flesh-wise. They told me to do, like, drink a lot of fluids.
You still talking about what they told you to do, and that's fine. Drink a lot of fluids. But first of all, you have to block them out. Anyone who says they don't have a cure must get out of my face. Okay? If you can't fix this, what are you talking about? And that's the difference between faith and what? These carnal Dr. Frankensteins. You have to exercise something greater in you, young man, that they told you didn't exist. And they told you that when they claimed there was no cure. How the Hades they know? If you came with a cure, you think they would allow other people who are patients to find out about it?
Absolutely not.
Because what? Sicknesses is their livelihood. So release yourself from their psychology, young man. There's nothing you're dealing with right now that cannot be overcome. And you must believe that first within you. Okay?
Got it. Yes, sir.
You must will yourself through the Spirit of the Almighty to overcome the poisons that was administered into you. And I'm going to tell you, they're telling you one thing. I'm telling you, you do have the power to heal. If you believe you're not sick and you begin to operate as such, it'll go away. But you don't know you have that potential because these dean-bats out there with white jackets told you that there's a limit. And based on the fact that they've never cured this, there is no cure. Nah, there's no cure for you. When they say it's no cure, as far as they know, which is in their journals, in their books, in their science records, in their white papers, what they're telling you is there's nothing we read, nothing that we've read or learned in school that can actually deal with what's going on with you. That's what they mean when they say there is no cure. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Let me make it clear, young man. Hospitals and doctors aren't in the healing business. Okay, they're in the sickness business. If you were healed, if Christ was on this earth healing people, there'll be no need for these pharmacies. There'll be no need for these hospitals or doctors who make their money off of sicknesses. This is why the majority of stuff they will give you in these pharmacies, and when you go into supermarkets, and let's put it in the supermarkets, why do you think they give you all this stuff for free? Oh yeah, get your stuff. Hey, have you got this? Have you gotten that? Why do you think they give it to you for free? So that they'll have a lifetime customer. Okay? It's like a drug dealer who give their what? Who give their first customers a free dose to hook them. So, brother, you've been poisoned. And first of all, you must what? You must accept that point first. And acknowledge that in your mind. I've been poisoned. And now you can face and deal with the illness now. Ignoring it away and not dealing with this injury is not the way to overcome it. You must first say, I've been poisoned. And guess what? If I get a snake bite, young man, guess what? If I get a snake bite, I immediately try to find a what? An antidote.
Antidote, yes, sir.
If you don't admit you've been poisoned, you're not going to seek what? A cure. And I'm going to tell you, the Spirit is in you already to begin to heal in this.
How you say that?
Because Christ is in you. Do you believe it? Do you believe Christ is in you?
Yes. I've been going through a lot out of my years, but I never once questioned.
Okay. So are you going to focus on pulling from that source, aiming that towards whatever sicknesses are in you?
Yes, sir. I will start.
And like, for instance, it's things that I can't say on this particular platform right now with the guidelines. But young man, you can easily get over this. So text me, 445-888-2759.
Yes, sir. I definitely will.
Right?
Thank you so much.
The boldness growing up in you right now. It's emboldening you right now, ain't it?
Yeah, believe it or not, I haven't been smiling a lot lately. Like, it really bothers me that sometimes I can't even congregate because of the frequent dizzy spells. So
well,
yeah.
let me ask you this, young man. Let me ask you this. Are you scared now?
No, I feel like I can walk down a couple of blocks right now. I feel like.
Okay, hold up, young man. Hold up now. I'm gonna ask you a question again. Let me see right here. Zaire, where you at, young man?
Oh, where I'm located? I'm in New York.
No, just tell me this. As far as your faith, when you called me, you was originally scared. What do you feel now?
I feel that's what I can say. Like my chest is puckered out. If you know what I mean. Feel much better. Like, yeah, that spirit of depression was on me before I called. I'm not gonna lie.
The spirit of depression was on you before you called.
Yes, sir.
Now you see why they feared Christ and the disciples Christ gave the disciples power to stamp on serpents. You see why the enemy feared him?
Sir.
Because the world powers, young man, don't want you to tap into what's in you. You are a chosen seed of the Almighty. Don't ever believe the enemy with their psychological warfare. There's always a cure. There's always an antidote. First, starting with whether or not you believe Christ is in you and can heal you. You got it?
Yes, sir. Definitely.
All right. Don't call me defeated no more, brother. Stand up. Stand up as a son of Jacob and get in this war.
Definitely will. Next time you hear me, I should be in the academy.
Well, hey, come on, man. Whatever you need to do, my brother. But don't sit back and sulk and believe the enemy. Stand up and become a part of this kingdom. Become a soldier within the Most High's army. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. A lot of so much.
And stop believing Harry Potter. Okay?
Yes, sir.
My brother. All right. My brother. You heard that, Elder Lawyer? Look at that.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I couldn't hear him, but I heard your dialogue with him.
No, when I first spoke to the young man, Elder Lawyer, I brought him in latest. You can hear. I forgot you couldn't hear. When I first brought him in, you can feel the weight on him, as if he was defeated already. And that's what this world does. That's what these so-called doctors do.
Right.
Right? They restrict us from tapping into the Spirit of the Almighty. I wish one of those fools would tell me something. Tell me, oh, there's no cure for this. Who the hell is you?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean I can't? If anything, we need to get in front of this before we have to give our people cleansings and healing herbs to heal them. We need to make sure parents know not to give their children these bioweapons. 816, last call for today. Last call for today. Let's do it. 816. Broke phone. Hey, sister, it sounds like you caught up in a tsunami right now. Oh, no, I'm here. Hey, sis, no, your phone, you got to straighten that out, sister. Unfortunate for you. No, it sound like you dropped the phone up in the old commode. Last call for the day, Tiffany. Tiffany. All right, Tiffany. Going once.
Hey, Shalom, Elder. This isn't Tiffany. This is Micah.
Yes, Micah. Last call for today. I gotta go.
Yes, sir. Already. My name is Micah Koenig. I'm out here in the Houston body. I just had a question about basically just some advice that you would give to young men, especially in these times. You know, that is, I'm 20 years old myself, and you know, just kind of with everything that's going on. Sometimes, you know, I work out, I do things like that. You know, I stay in my word. But sometimes, like especially in these times, it's kind of hard to, like, okay, navigate. All right, am I doing the right thing? Like, is the Most High mad at me? Not in the sense of like, is the Most High mad at me, but like, you know, when I kind of look at, I wouldn't say other people, but I'll be like, man, like, I feel like I should be further along in a sense. So I would just, if you just had some advice, or just something that to tell us younger men, like, hey, just like to keep our mind, you know, on the balanced ground to just keep on going, because sometimes I could get in my head thinking I'm too far behind than where I actually am.
Okay, let me tell you, young man, that's a natural. That's a natural scenario for someone your age.
Okay.
Right? And because why? You're still trying to find the reason for purpose. You're still trying to find. You're trying to move into what you'll do as a man. So that drive of that thing in you that's saying, okay, I should be further along, I'm lacking. That's natural for someone in your age, because that gives you the ambition to succeed. All right? So there's nothing wrong with that. It's what you do with your time, okay? Are you in a church?
No, sir. So I had work this morning, so
I'm asking you, are you a part of a church?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. We're going to have the Maccabees program coming up for young men.
Okay.
And that's going to be full-fledged. That's going to be just mind, body, spirit, raising young men up to be men of the Almighty in the program. So
already,
right?
Okay.
So with the Young Maccabees program, believe me, that's going to be more than enough for you to get up to speed in all the areas you need to become a priest for the Almighty.
Yes, sir.
So be looking forward to when we roll that out right after the Passover.
Okay. Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. It was a pleasure speaking with you. I got to meet you for the first time when you actually came out here to Houston a few months back. That was a blessing because 2 years ago, my brother Matthew, who had been in the truth for about 5 years, when I was in college, I used to be a former D1 athlete. This was before I was even in the church, before listening. I would always hear Elder Lawya and his deep voice. I'm like, man, who is this guy? You know, he just slowly fed me the truth. And you know, I had the pleasure to be able to meet you after 2 years finally. So all praises be to the Most High. But again, I appreciate, you know, the advice and all that.
Yeah.
So the water.
Hey, brother, just be obedient to the Spirit and stay humble and learn. I mean, I believe
sir.
Lawya was around your age when he came in, so. All right?
Yes, sir. I came in, I was like 18 and a half.
Okay.
So I got baptized about a year ago. So yes, sir.
All right. Well,
Yes, sir.
just follow the leadership that's there right now until the program comes and step into your ministry.
Yes, sir.
And
Most
then
definitely.
on top of that, just outside of that, write down some of the things that you would like to contribute for God's people. What is it you would like to see happen for the people? And by doing that, that mindset you come in with the word, with those others, will be part of the ministry to help get to the youth, right? So write down some of the things you would like to see change amongst your peers. And that can be your ministry to help those who see things in your generation within your age range. You write that down, and the Most High have that be whatever you want to do will become a ministry. All right?
Whoa. Okay. That's wild because a brother told me that recently. I had a conversation with him and he said something along the lines of that. So, okay. Already.
All right?
For sure. Yes, sir. The water, Elder.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. That concludes our broadcast for today. Sabbath lesson. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. We will soon see Zion. And if you want to, you can leave a message, a text, or a phone call, or email us. gatheringas1@aol.com. That concludes our Sabbath lesson. We'll see you next week if it be the Lord's will. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. We will soon see Zion, and you Loyal Academites, we'll see you tomorrow in the Hebrew and Bible Academy. May the Most High be with you. Stay prayed up. Sin not. We will soon see Zion. Thank you, Elder Lawya, and you have a pleasant night, all right?
Yes, sir. You do the same.
Thank you. Blessings. All right.
Shalom.
Shalom. Where's my Zion at? Come on now. Some stuff coming up. There it is. Let's do it. Come on.
To Zion. I was lost, but now I'm found. I'm a child of Israel. I heard the sound. You hear the sound. Please give me the strength to stand today. With my eyes towards the east, show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please. Please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, Lord, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion. I opened up the book and see that the apple of your eye included me. And through the tribulation, I know I must stand for a new heaven, a new earth. Show me the way to Zion. I'm on my knees, laying my life on the line. I'm begging, please. Please don't let me fall. Give me the strength. Place my feet, guide my path. Show me the way to Zion.